Chapter 115. Rays of light shone down like the rising sun, illuminating everyone. Many sects were dissatisfied with the actions of the purple-robed expert and Hu Rong, but they were still inner and outer sect disciples, and their positions were not high. How could they dare to challenge them? Especially Hu Rong. He was an elder of the exuding fire sect, and his position was high. These sects would definitely not offend him for an inner or outer sect disciple, since Hu Rong represented the exuding fire sect. Even if they were angry, they could only endure it. Everyone present was smart, and there was no loss in accepting the investigation. It was just a matter of losing face. The light emitted by the jade umbrella baptized everyone, from the front to the back, bit by bit. Su Yun stared at the incoming light, his expression congealed. "Rascal, you should be fine, right?" The Sword Elder's voice came out from the Limitless Sword Manual. The Limitless Sword Manual can conceal the chi of the Heavenly Crystal. Why can't it conceal the chi of the Heavenly Scale Fish King? Su Yun frowned. And the Heavenly Crystal has already recovered. Even if I am discovered, I am not afraid. At most I can use the Heavenly Crystal to fight. If I can't win, can't I run? That's right, but if that's the case, you can't stay in the Su family anymore, and your plan will have to be interrupted, isn't it? Su Yun nodded. So unless it's a crucial moment, I don't want to use the Heavenly Crystal, and there are more important things that I will need it. At this time, I will hide it. Voila! Just as Su Yun and the Sword Elder were conversing, the light had already covered, and directly shone on Su Yun's body. Chirp, 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 chirp. Just at this moment, a series of strange crackling sounds suddenly rang out. Everyone turned to look at the Su family. Su Yun's eyes widened. How is this possible? Could it be that the Limitless Sword Manual was unable to conceal this chi? But, just as he thought he was exposed, he was shocked to find out that everyone's gaze was not on him, but on Su Yukong, who was not far away. Su Yun was stunned, and turned to look. Su Yukong was dumbfounded, his face was pale, his lips trembled, his pupils shrunk, and he stared blankly at the crowd. The purple-robed expert saw this, and immediately flew over. The jade umbrella is reacting. This person must have taken advantage of the situation and stolen what we need. The purple-robed almighty figure shouted. With a wave of his hand, the jade umbrella flew over and floated in the middle of the Su family. A circle of snow-white energy enveloped the entire Su family. The Su family was in a panic. Kneel down immediately and hand over the Heavenly Scale Fish King's body parts. Otherwise, I won't forgive you. The purple-robed mighty being shouted angrily. Plop! Su Yukong immediately knelt on the ground and shouted with a trembling voice, "Lord! I did not take any parts of the Heavenly Scale Fish King's corpse. I didn't take it. Things have come to this. How dare you quibble? If you did not take the parts of the Heavenly Scale Fish King's corpse, then why would your hands have the chi of the Heavenly Scale Fish King?" Su Yukong was stunned. He looked at his own hands dumbfoundedly. He saw that the chi floating above his head was being quickly disintegrated and extracted by the jade umbrella above his head, flying in all directions. What else do you have to say?" The purple-robed almighty shouted coldly. The Su family was stunned. No one expected Su Yukong to be so daring. He even dared to take the almighty's things. Even Su Yun was astonished. He did not know when Su Yukong had been tainted with the profound spirit chi of the Heavenly Scale Fish King. I never thought that the Su family would be so daring. They even dare to covet the things of the Almighty. The Su family is really great. If not for the Almighty, would the Heavenly Scale Fish King have been killed? Really ignorant. The people from the various sects were all mocking and ridiculing. Each and every one of them looked at the Su family with disdain. After all, to fish in troubled waters and steal the things of the Almighty, if this news were to spread, the reputation of the Su family would plummet. "No, I really didn't take it. I really did. I can swear." Su Yukong shouted anxiously. But to no avail. The purple-robed almighty being kicked him, and he fell to the ground. Su Yukong spat out blood, and his whole body was trembling. At this moment, no one could help him. Let me ask you again. Are you going to hand over the parts of the corpse? The almighty being in the purple robe said coldly. I really didn't take it. Su Yukong shouted weakly. I just saw the heavenly scale fish king's stomach being cut open. I wanted to take away its internal organs. I must have been tainted with the chi of the heavenly scale fish king. That's why there was such a misunderstanding. I really didn't take it. You still dare to quibble? I'll kill you right now. The almighty being in the purple robe was enraged. He kicked towards Su Yukong's head. With his strength, this kick could totally destroy Su Yukong's head. Stop! In a blink of an eye, two shouts rang out. One was the chief grandmaster of Blossom Heart Valley, Guillermo Ju, and the other was Su Guanhai, who was standing among the Su family. The two of them stepped forward and bowed to the almighty being in the purple robe to persuade him. Revered sir, this matter still needs to be investigated. You can't judge who the villain is based on the chi. Su Guanhai said. Revered sir, it's just a dead object. Why do you have to torture the living for a dead object? Revered sir, please be magnanimous and let this person off. Guillermo Ju said. No way. Without waiting for the almighty being in the purple robe to open his mouth, Hu Rong, who was at the back, humphed. A small spirit intermediate disciple dares to behave atrociously in front of us. If we let today's matter go, what face do we have left to stand in the sky martial continent? That's right. We must make this person hand over the parts of the corpse. If not, none of you from the Su family will think of leaving. The other experts also bellowed. Everyone released their chi. The people from the Su family felt as though there were a few huge mountains pressing on their hearts. They felt unbearable and their spirits were slowly approaching the edge of collapse. This was the pressure that the strong had on the weak. Su Guanhai frowned. Facing the almighty being in the purple robe, Hu Rong and the rest, he was not flustered. He cupped his fists and said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner, Revered sir, the situation was sudden. No one expected such a thing to happen. Furthermore, the disciples were closer to the heavenly scale fish king's corpse. It was inevitable that they would feel the chi. You can't just judge based on this. Since that's the case, you should make him hand over the parts of the corpse. If that's the case, I can spare his life. The almighty being in the purple robe said coldly. Compared to Su Yukong's life, he was more concerned about his reputation and benefits. Su Guanhai turned his head and looked at Su Yukong. However, Su Yukong's face was bitter. I really didn't take it. Are you people from the Su family disregarding my dignity? The almighty being in the purple robe was completely enraged. He directly struck a palm towards Su Yukong. This method was obviously to kill him. Revered sir, don't. Su Guanhai hurriedly rushed over to block it. But how could this almighty being in the purple robe have the intention to stop? His killing intent was already revealed. There was no hesitation or stagnation. Everyone from the Su family stared with their eyes wide open. Their hearts were in their throats. Imminent peril. Stop. A loud voice sounded. A ray of yellow light flew over. With lightning speed, it collided with the palm of the almighty being in the purple robe. Bang! The two of them collided. A violent, profound spirit chi rippled out, causing the surrounding people to retreat. Who is it? The almighty being in the purple robe did not move an inch. His palm did not hit and he bellowed, only to see the person in the yellow light retreating. After retreating more than 10 steps, he finally stopped. After a while, he realized that it was another Su family member. This person wore a yellow jade crown on his head. The two sides of the crown had long tassels. He was dressed in a yellow robe. He had delicate features. His face was pale. He was not tall, but he was well proportioned. He had a taste. Especially on his waist, there were 2 long swords. On the order badge, there was a big Sioux word carved on it. The people from the sects were stunned. To be able to exchange one move with the almighty being in the purple robe, and still be standing, this person's strength was not ordinary. He was most likely above the 5th stage of the Spirit Core disciple, Prince Fu Su. At this time, the few inner sect disciples who were scared silly suddenly regained their senses. They all exclaimed, "Prince Fu Su? This is Prince Fu Su? Oh my God, he actually came! We're saved now. That's great!" The Su family cried tears of joy. They were extremely excited. Tens of Sioux family guards riding on spirit stallions came from afar. They surrounded the back of the Sioux family. They did not dismount from their horses. Instead, they stared at the almighty being in the purple robe like a tiger watching its prey. The almighty being in the purple robe became angrier. He stared at the approaching person and shouted, "Who are you? How dare you stop me? Do you not want to live any more?" The young master in the yellow robe exposed a rather stiff smile. "Lord Zisu, please don't be angry. Your Smoky Wind Valley and my Sioux family are considered to be on good terms. There's no need to fall out with a few lowly bodies of a spirit soul disciple demon beast, right? Then you mean to say we're just going to let this matter go?" The almighty being in the purple robe, who was addressed as Lord Zisu by the young master in the yellow robe, asked coldly. "Of course not." The young master in the yellow robe, who was also the Sioux family's Prince Fu Su, laughed stiffly. He turned his head and looked at Su Yukong, who was still kneeling on the ground. He said, "How about this? Let me handle this matter. How about that? I'll give you guys a satisfactory explanation." Lord Zisu looked at Hu Rong and the rest. Seeing them nodding their heads, he agreed. "Since it's like this, I want to see what methods you have." "All right." Prince Fu Su still exposed a stiff and ugly smile. He then walked towards Su Yukong. "Prince, young master, I didn't take those things. I was just greedy. I wanted to take some of the things in the fish's stomach. As for the others, I didn't even touch them." Su Yukong stuttered as he shouted. Seeing Fu Su, it was as if he saw a life-saving straw. "That means, if I ask you to hand over those things, you won't be able to?" Prince Fu Su asked softly. He extended his hand and caressed Su Yukong's face. "Like a loving mother," he said gently. Su Yukong was stunned. Both his eyes started to tear. His voice trembled as he said, I didn't take it. How do I hand it over? I can't possibly make it appear out of thin air, right?" "I understand now." Prince Fu Su nodded. He immediately released his hand. He patted his shoulder and turned around. Lord Zisu frowned. But he saw Prince Fu Su looking at him. He continued to reveal a smile that was hard to look at. Suddenly, clang! Prince Fu Su raised the 2 swords at his waist. His body was as slippery as an eel. The 2 swords were wrapped with extremely dense, swift wind spirit chi. They fiercely slashed towards Su Yukong's head. Puchi. 2 swords, 3 parts. Su Yukong's entire head was smashed into pieces. It fell to the ground. Fresh blood and brain matter splattered everywhere. He died instantly. Everyone was shocked. The entire place was silent. Prince Fu Su calmly turned around. He held the 2 swords that were stained with fresh blood. He placed them in his palms and walked towards Lord Zisu. His steps were slow, but they were powerful. His expression was calm. He was no longer smiling. But he was not flustered. He stood in front of Lord Zisu and said indifferently, "The Su family is unable to hand over the things that your esteemed sect needs. It is the Su family's sin. Today, Fu Su will apologize for the Su family. If Lord Zisu still wants to pursue the Su family's sin, then use these swords to behead Fu Su." With that, the 2 swords stabbed into the ground. The swords trembled. Chapter 116. Prince Fu Su, the second son of the patriarch of the Su family. It was said that Prince Fu Su was gifted. At the age of 8, he had already stepped into the first stage of the spirit intermediate disciple realm. The Su family had high hopes for him. All the treasures were thrown towards him. Prince Fu Su's cultivation level increased day by day. At the age of 12, he felt that the Su family's cultivation method was not suitable for him. So he left alone and wandered around to find a more suitable expert to guide him. 5 years later, Prince Fu Su, who had stepped into the first stage of the spirit core disciple realm, returned to the Su family. In a short span of 5 years, he had stepped into the spirit core disciple realm from the spirit intermediate disciple realm. Only Su Yun, who had the everlasting stone, could suppress him. He was a true genius. No one knew what his current cultivation level was, but it was at least close to the spirit soul disciple realm. At such a young age, he was about to advance to the spirit soul disciple realm. This was a realm that countless people could not reach in their lifetime. It was precisely because of his extraordinary talent that the Su clan believed that this child would definitely be able to revitalize the clan. The previous clan head personally gave him the name Fu Su, implying that he would support the Su clan and bring honor to his ancestors. And the reason why he was called Prince Fu Su was because the Su family believed that he would inherit the Su family and become the next patriarch. Su Yun stared at Prince Fu Su and his heart sank. Maybe in the future, he would fall out with the Su family. This would be troublesome. Prince Fu Su's method was decisive and ruthless. No one had any temper. Everyone's aura was shaken. Although his cultivation level was not as high as these almighty beings, even these almighty beings had to give him some face. Serene Su regained his senses. He looked at the trembling swords on the floor and stared at Prince Fu Su for a while. Finally, he snorted, "Since he's dead, then forget it. I will not pursue this. Although I do not know who the person who stole the heavenly scalefish king was, but everyone's loss, the Su family will bear it." Prince Fu Su said. "Good." Serene Su's face looked better. He nodded and looked at Hu Rong and the rest. "You're indeed his son. Fu Su, you did well. If that's the case, I have nothing to say. I'll let this matter rest." Hu Rong waved his hand and said. He did not have any temper. Prince Fu Su was after all the second son of the Su family patriarch. He had admitted his mistake, and had compensated. What else could the crowd say? Furthermore, the heavenly scale-fish king's carcass might not have been obtained by the Su family. The matter came to an end with the sudden appearance of Prince Fu Su. Tai Shang Tua set up a banquet, and invited all the people who participated in the extermination of the heavenly scale-fish king to attend the banquet at Tai Ching Monastery. A portion of the people agreed, and the majority of the people left after they finished dividing the heavenly scalefish king's corpse. The Su family did not stay for long. Under the lead of Prince Fu Su, everyone immediately returned to the Su family. Why would Prince Fu Su suddenly rush over here? Everyone was puzzled, and only later did they find out that after the Su family knew that Su Huangming had been killed, they were worried that there would be no one to lead them, so they sent Prince Fu Su to receive them, and coincidentally happened upon this incident. Su Yun thought otherwise. If they were to send someone to take over Su Huangming's position, then there was no need to send Prince Fu Su. He was afraid that there was more to it than meets the eye. Throughout the journey, Su Yun's hands were always inside the Limitless sword manual, concealing his chi. The heavenly scale-fish king's chi was too strong. Although it was dead, it would take at least half a month for its chi to subside. Ordinary people would not be able to sense its chi, but Prince Fu Su was not an ordinary person. Back at the Su family, Su Guanhai was immediately invited to the law enforcement hall for questioning. Su Yun waited for the outer sect disciples to have nothing to do, so he immediately left. Once this matter was settled, Su Yun immediately brought the heavenly scale fish king's parts out of the Su family. The fish king's eye was huge, and could not be used directly. It still needed to be processed. After leaving the Su family, he arrived at a concave area far away. He threw away the spring crystal pill furnace that he had brought out from the small rundown house and started to draw an array to refine the Fish King's eye. To cultivate the Fish King's eye into the heavenly scale divine eye was extremely simple. He only needed to use the cauldron and profound spirit chi to force the energy from the white of the Fish King's eye into the pupil. The final product was 2 thin crystal chips the size of a normal person's pupil. After refining it, Su Yun covered his eyes with the crystal chip. In an instant, his eyesight increased explosively. Even the grains of sand from 1,000 meters away were in his eyes. Concentrating his eyes, he felt that everything in his eyes was slow by half a beat. "What is this? What did you do, rascal?" The Sword Elder came out of the Limitless Sword Manual and asked curiously. "Heavenly Scale Divine Eye." Su Yun blinked his eyes and adapted to the crystal chips that covered his eyes. He felt that his eyes were reflecting a light blue luster. Heavenly Scale Divine Eye? Is that the Heavenly Scale Fish King's eyes? Yes. The Fish King's eyes are pure objects. The Fish King is an almighty being. All the equipment on its body are divine treasures. This pair of eyes is not simple. The Heavenly Scale Fish King imbued its 2 unique mystical techniques into it, causing the left eye to open. It is able to hide its own chi and prevent others from finding out its cultivation level. When the right eye is opened, it can easily capture other people's chi and analyze their profound spirit chi. From there, it can know the other person's strength. When both eyes converge at the same time, it can have the eyes of 1,000 miles. "So powerful?" the Sword Elder exclaimed. But after a while, he was confused. "Rascal, isn't there only one pair of Heavenly Scale Divine Eye? There is only one Fish King. Naturally, there is only one pair of Divine Eye. Then, you just obtained this Divine Eye, right?" "Of course." "Then how do you know about the mystical aspects of this Heavenly Scale Divine Eye?" "This." Su Yun was stunned for a while. Then, he laughed and did not say anything else. "Strange rascal." Seeing that Su Yun did not say anything, the Sword Elder did not force him. He shook his head and returned to the Sword Manual. "Senior, when I left the Su family, I bought 2 fragrant dresses. Should I put them in now?" Scram. After obtaining the Divine Eye, Su Yun returned to the small house and took out the 100 demon extermination god array that he had prepared earlier. He continued to use the needles to quench his blood and sacrifice to the array. These days were very peaceful, but as time passed, the 100 demon extermination god array gradually took shape and was about to be completed. The surging demonic chi was suppressed by the limitless sword art. When the Sword Elder smelled the berserk demonic chi, he was shocked. "Rascal, how did you master such a terrifying array? What do you want to do with it?" "Get the sprite's shadow." Su Yun's face was pale. He retracted his hand from the flying sky moon mirror and used a bone rope to tie up the 100 demon extermination god array. Then, he placed it in his storage ring. Sprite's shadow? The Sword Elder knew about this powerful treasure. His heart trembled. "If you can get the Sprite's shadow, then you will have the heavenly crystal and the death sword. Even if you meet a spirit soul disciple, you can still fight." "What about the entire Su family and profound sky sect? It's like hitting a rock with an egg, so this is not enough. I need an even bigger plan." "You have an idea?" "This is only the first step. There's not much time left." Su Yun lowered his head. His eyes were cold. Living like this was actually very tiring. But for the people he cared about, so what if it was a little? The sky gradually darkened. The moon was hanging high up in the sky. After quenching his blood, Su Yun's body was extremely weak. He needed to rest in the house and conserve his energy. It was not convenient for him to train his sword. Bang bang bang, just then, a series of hurried knocks came from the door. Su Yun opened his eyes. His heart was filled with suspicion. Before he could open the door, he heard Su Xianyu's sobbing voice. Big brother Su Yun. Big brother, quickly open the door. Big brother Su Yun. Woo. The strong girl's voice was filled with helplessness and pain. It was as if she was extremely frightened. Su Yun's heart tightened. He quickly got off the bed and ran to open the door. Gotcha. The door opened. He saw a girl covered in blood. She was carrying a person and lying in front of his house. The two of them were covered in blood. The blood flowed to the ground and almost formed a small stream. Xianyu, Xingyang? Su Yun was stunned. He quickly helped the two of them into the house. Big brother, I'm fine. I beg you, please save my brother first. Su Xianyu's face was pale. Her voice trembled as she cried. What happened to Xingyang? Su Yun placed Xingyang on the bed. As he took off his clothes, he asked. But Su Xianyu bit her lips and did not speak. Tell me. Su Yun repeated. His voice was very serious. No one would have the slightest feeling of disobedience. It's Su Donghao who did it. Su Xianyu wiped her tears. She lowered her head and said bitterly. Su Donghao? Su Yun was startled. Su Dongfang's younger brother. Yes, he's young Master Dongfang's younger brother. Su Xianyu bit her lips and said, When my brother and I entered the inner sect, we were bullied everywhere. I knew that this was the rule of the inner sect, so I told my brother to bear with it. After a period of time, everything would be fine. Although my brother had a bad temper, he knew his limit. So, he did not say anything more. One day, my brother and I went out for a mission. We had a conflict with the Su family. My brother could not control his temper and started fighting with that person. Who knew that with one move, my brother would cripple that person's arm? That person did not fight with my brother. Instead, he returned to the Su family and reported the matter to the housekeeper. The housekeeper wanted to cripple my brother's cultivation and chase us out of the Su family. My brother pleaded with me, but to no avail. At this time, Su Donghao appeared. He's the son of the great clan elder. After a few words, he let the matter go. But this matter is not over yet. The reason why Su Donghao was willing to plead for us was because he had a purpose. He wanted me. Speaking till here, Su Xianyu could not say a word. Her tears mixed with blood fell to the ground. Su Yun was stunned. He wanted you to be his dual cultivation partner? No, that's not it. Su Xianyu hurriedly shook her head. Her tears fell to the ground and said, With my looks, ordinary people would not be interested in me. Moreover, my status is low. Su Donghao is the son of the great clan elder. Usually, there are many beautiful spirit cultivators. Why would he be interested in me? Then what does he want you to do? Su Yun did not understand. He wants me to be Su Yurong's wife. Su Xianyu bit her lips tightly. Finally, she cried. What the F***ck? Su Yun jumped and stood up. He said in shock, Su Yurong is a girl. Chapter 117. The great clan elder of the Su family had been in charge of the Su family for over 70 years. His cultivation was profound, and his lifespan was many times that of a normal person. It was said that when the great clan elder was young, because he was cultivating a mystical technique, he was unable to carry on the family line. Only until he mastered the technique could he impregnate women. Thus, the great clan elder looked old, but his children were only in their 20s or 30s. Compared to the other children, the most outstanding one among the children of the great clan elder was Su Dongfang. He was humble, polite, handsome, and had an extraordinary cultivation. He was truly worthy of being called a young master. He had a high position in the main house of the inner sect. As for the other children, they were a little weird. The second son, Su Donghao, did not think about cultivation, but liked to research on evil things. He would often send people to the Mirror Lake Town's auction house to purchase materials from demons and monsters. He would hide in his room and research on something. Su Donghao had a weird habit. He was cold and indifferent to everyone. Even when Su Dongfang was talking to him, he would walk away halfway. Although that was the case, everyone was shocked to realize that he obeyed every single person's order. That was the great clan elder's third child, Su Yurong. Su Yurong's looks were not considered good. She could only be described as average. She was neither beautiful nor ugly. She had short hair and was slightly plump. Her face shape was not considered square. Even when she dressed up, she could not compare to other spirit cultivators. But what was shocking was, although Su Yurong's looks were not good, she liked women. A woman who did not like men but had a special liking for the same sex. This was really eye-catching. Thus, Su Yurong became famous. Of course, if it was just liking, it would be fine. The problem was, Su Yurong only liked spirit cultivator beauties. Ordinary girls who did not cultivate profound spirit cultivation, no matter how pretty they were, she would not be interested in them. Initially, Su Yurong used her identity and methods to hook up with one or two spirit cultivator beauties. But, after these girls got together with Su Yurong, they would disappear after a period of time. No one knew where they went. Some people guessed that they were dead. As for how they died, only Su Yurong knew. Because of that, no one dared to provoke Su Yurong anymore. Su Yurong relied on the great clan elder's name and methods, and was unable to attract spirit cultivator beauties anymore. Hence, she relied on the obedient Su Donghao. Su Donghao's way of doing things was tyrannical. He had always forcefully abducted people, and had caused quite a commotion, but it was all suppressed by the great clan elder. Who would have thought that Su Donghao would actually have designs on Su Xianyu, and let her serve Su Yurong? Brother heard that Su Yurong was practicing the yin harvesting technique, so he rejected Su Donghao on the spot. Su Donghao was extremely furious, and wanted to forcefully kidnap me. Brother swore to resist, but was severely injured by them. Su Donghao did not even see our lives as human lives, and wanted to kill us. The two of us fought our way out, and escaped from the inner sect to the outer sect. Su Xinyue bit her lips and sobbed with a pale face. Su Donghao is the son of the great clan elder. What kind of position and cultivation does the great clan elder have? With him around, as long as Su Donghao can't be blackmailed, he can kill anyone in the inner or outer sect. Su Yun said solemnly. Big brother, we didn't dare to go to the medical hall, afraid that Su Donghao would find us, so we hid here. Looking at brother's situation, I'm afraid he won't be able to hold on for long. Su Xianyu cried. Su Yun comforted her, turned his gaze, and stared at Su Xingyang, who was lying on the bed. You don't have to worry about this. Just hide here with me for now. As for Xingyang's injuries, I will heal them. Su Yun checked Xingyang's body. Although his injuries were heavy, it was not life-threatening. He took out some pills from his storage ring and let Xingyang consume them. Then, he left the house alone and went to the main street to buy some ingredient. He was not afraid that Su Xianyu would see him, so he drew an array in the house and started to concoct pills. After an hour, 2 pills came out of the furnace, and their fragrance filled the air. Su Yun immediately took them out and let Xingyang swallow them. When the pills entered his stomach, Xingyang's bleeding stopped immediately. His complexion also recovered a little, and his vitality gradually rose. Upon seeing this, Su Xianyu cried tears of joy, and kept muttering, "That's great. Dong dong dong." At this time, the hurried knocking on the door sounded again. But after a few knocks, the door of the small run-down house was kicked to pieces, and a large group of people rushed in. There were more than 10 of them. Su Yun stared at the fallen door, and a trace of anger flashed past his eyes. His face was calm as he scanned the people who rushed in, and said, "Who are you guys?" "Su Donghao." A voice came from outside the house, and then, a person wearing a dark red gown walked in. The person who came had a head of rare green hair, a skinny figure, and a gloomy expression on his face. He was not handsome, but his actions were overbearing. Oh, Su Yun nodded. Speak of the devil. Suddenly, his figure moved, and like a wild horse, he rushed towards Su Dong Hao, and a palm the size of a palm leaf fan directly slapped towards his face. Young Master Dong Hao, be careful! The inner sect disciples at the side immediately reacted, and hurriedly rushed forward, wanting to block Su Yun, who suddenly went berserk. But Su Yun's speed was too fast. Comparing cultivation, this group of people could not even compare to him. The palm fiercely slapped Su Dong Hao's right cheek, and Su Dong Hao, who just entered the house, was slapped out again. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and rolled a few times outside the house before stopping. Everyone was dumbfounded, including Su Xianyu. Her small mouth was wide open, and her eyes were staring blankly. Su Yun, what are you doing? A small outer sect disciple. He actually dared to hit the great clan elder's son. Was he tired of living? You guys want to make a move too? Su Yun stared at the frozen inner sect disciple who was prepared to stop him, and asked. Those people swallowed their saliva, but before they could say anything, Su Yun raised his leg again, and fiercely kicked them, bang bang bang. His leg turned into a shadow, and his speed was unbelievably fast. A few fourth-stage spirit intermediate disciples were all kicked out, and fell on the ground outside the house. Cries of pain sounded. The remaining Su family disciples hurriedly rushed out, and helped Su Dong Hao, whose mouth was still bleeding, up. You dare to hit me? Su Dong Hao pushed away the people who were supporting him, and stared coldly at Su Yun. Rebel! Su Yun, you're really rebelling. The people at the side shouted angrily. You think I don't have the right to hit you? Su Yun walked out of the door, and stared at Su Dong Hao. Hee. Su Dong Hao laughed coldly. Seems like you don't want to stay in the Su family anymore. Is that so? Su Yun snorted, and was about to step forward, and walk towards Su Dong Hao, but in the next second, his arm was pulled back by a hand. Su Yun tilted his head, and saw Su Xianyu looking at him with a pale face. Her eyes were filled with self-blame and helplessness. Big brother, don't hit him anymore. Su Xianyu bit her lips and said softly. He's the great clan elder's son. If you touch him, the great clan elder will blame you. You'll be implicated. Stop. Su Yun bit his lower lip. Xianyu, Master Dong Hao. But he heard Su Xianyu suddenly shout. Su Dong Hao raised his head and looked at her. He did not say a word, but his eyes were filled with disdain. I can go back with you. To serve Miss Yurong. Su Xianyu's pink lips were almost bitten. She lowered her head and said, But, I hope you can let go of big brother Su Yun and my brother, can you? Hearing that, Su Yun was stunned. If you're willing to go back with me, I can naturally forget about these small matters. Su Dong Hao said coldly, but his eyes flashed a trace of killing intent that was hard to catch. That's good. Su Xianyu lowered her head, nodded slightly, and was about to step forward. But she was stopped. Su Xianyu raised her head stunned. Big brother! Wait here, I can handle it. Su Yun revealed a comforting smile. But, wait. Listen to me. With that, Su Yun immediately looked towards Su Dong Hao and the rest. The inner sect disciples who were lying on the ground all stood up. Pairs of vigilant eyes were fixed on Su Yun, and each of them took out their weapons. What? You still want to hit me? Su Dong Hao patted the dirt off his body and said blandly. I won't hit you anymore. Su Yun said. Then scram, my target isn't you. Su Dong Hao said blandly. But in the next second, he heard the sound of a sharp sword being unsheathed. Su Dong Hao's pupils slightly enlarged. He looked up, only to see Su Yun extending his hand, and from the sword sheath on his back, he took out a long green sharp sword. Everyone was shocked. Su Yun, what are you doing? Don't tell me. Don't tell me you want to kill Master Dong Hao? The inner sect disciples at the side exclaimed with a trembling voice. But Su Dong Hao quickly regained his composure. He stared at Su Yun, who was walking over, and laughed coldly. Heh, an outer sect disciple dares to touch me? Good. I want to see. Do you have the guts? I won't kill you. If I kill you, I will have to pay with my life. Now, I will only cut off your right hand, cripple you. I believe that should be enough. As Su Yun said, he raised the sword in his hand high up. The cold thousand-deep sword, under the moonlight, shone with an eerie cold light. Heh, you're just bluffing. Su Dong Hao's face was frivolous. He did not care and said blandly, You think you'll be fine if you don't kill me? I'll tell you the truth. Even if you touch a strand of my hair, you'll die without a burial. In the Su family, no one can touch me, or else you'll die. Is that so? Su Yun's eyes flashed with a trace of sadness. He immediately raised his sword. The sword tip fiercely slashed towards Su Dong Hao's right arm. There was no determination, no hesitation. He did not care about anything. No! Su Xinyu's heart almost jumped out of her throat. She shouted anxiously. But it was useless. Su Dong Hao looked at the flying sword tip with disdain, suddenly widened his eyes. The indifference in the depths of his eyes disappeared without a trace, and what replaced it was full of fear. He actually made a move? How was that possible? Poochie! Ah! A mournful scream rang through the entire outer sect of the Su family. Bada! An arm fell to the ground, followed by a spurt of fresh blood, and the hissing sound was heard non-stop. Su Dong Hao's spirit-profound realm was extremely low. He could not endure such pain, and immediately fainted. Those inner sect disciples were petrified, standing dumbfounded on the spot. Scram! Su Yun kept the thousand-deep sword sheath and said. Fresh blood dripped from his fingertips. Chapter 118. Clang! The teacup was thrown onto the floor. An old man dressed in a luxurious gown, with a white beard that reached his waist, suddenly stood up from his chair and shouted at the man. What did you say? Say it again. The messenger was so scared that he immediately knelt on the floor, his head touching the floor as he said, Great clan elder. Second young master's hand was chopped off by an outer sect disciple. Outer sect disciple, the great clan elder of the Su family, seemed to have squeezed out these few words from the gaps of his teeth. The anger in his eyes burned like a raging flame, and his gloomy voice came out. Immediately capture this outer sect disciple for me. Immediately. Yes. Yes, clan elder. The messenger hurriedly retreated. He did not dare to have the slightest bit of delay. With the great clan elder's command, he gathered a main house disciple, along with 20 inner sect disciples, and directly rushed towards the outer sect. As for Su Dong Hao, he was immediately sent to the inner sect's spirit medical center for treatment. The news of Su Yun chopping off Su Dong Hao's arm almost immediately spread throughout the entire Su family. This was even more shocking than him accidentally killing Su Kuang. Everyone thought that Su Yun accidentally killed Su Kuang, but this time was different. He intentionally chopped off Su Dong Hao's arm. If that was the case, didn't that mean that Su Yun did not even care about the great clan elder of the Su family? Kacha! 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 The spirit stallion carried the two frail figures and quickly left the outer sect of the Su family. Su Yun stood alone outside the small rundown hut, watching the two leave. Regarding what he had done, he did not panic at all. Rascal, aren't you a little impulsive? The sword elder's voice came out. If it was him, he would definitely not do such an extreme thing. Chopping off Su Dong Hao's arm was equivalent to chopping off his own life. Furthermore, Su Yun still did not run, and actually stayed in the Su family. What was he thinking? What's there to be impulsive about? Su Yun calmly said, If it wasn't for the plan, I wouldn't have just chopped off Su Dong Hao's arm. The sword elder heard and was shocked. You still want to kill him? Everyone who dares to touch me deserves to die. A trace of red light flashed past Su Yun's eyes, and his extremely selfish voice came out. The Sword Elder felt cold sweat dripping down his back. What kind of freak did I find to inherit the Limitless Sword sect? Then, what's your next step? The Sword Elder sighed and asked in a low voice. Wait, Su Yun said. Wait for who? Someone from the main house. He sat quietly outside the dilapidated house, gently playing with a token in his hand. The Sword Elder did not understand, so he did not say anything. But not long after, a series of hurried and heavy hoofbeats came from the other side. The earth trembled slightly, the sound was like muffled thunder. The strength of this trampling was not something a spirit stallion could compare to, it was at least a level higher than a single horned bull. Su Yun looked up and saw a main house guard dressed in a 5-colored glazed armor leading a group of inner sect elite guards rushing over. Along the way, everything was in chaos, and the pedestrians tried to avoid him in a panic. This group of people rushed over, there were more than 20 of them, all of them were at the 4th stage of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple Realm. The main house guard was at the peak of the 8th stage of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple Realm. It was terrifying. They surrounded the small house and Su Yun, not even a drop of water could escape, and immediately took out their weapons, their killing intent soaring towards Su Yun. A man dressed in a long gown and wearing a servant's hat squeezed out from the group of unicorns. He was riding on a spirit stallion. A step later, he came forward, took a deep breath, and shouted to Su Yun seriously. According to the Great Clan Elder's orders, Outer Sect disciple Su Yun has killed a Su family member. It is a serious violation of the Su family's rules. This action is not tolerated by the heavens. We will immediately arrest him, bring him to the main house for sentencing, immediately execute. With that said, the surrounding inner sect guards immediately got off their horses and rushed towards Su Yun. Rascal, what do you plan to do? Do you want me to help you kill your way out? The Sword Elder's dignified voice resounded in his mind. No need. Su Yun took out Thousand Deep Sword from the sword sheath. Without saying a word, he directly rushed towards the guards. Hey, rascal! You're only at the 6th stage of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple Realm. Dealing with these inner sect guards is already tough enough. There's even a main house guard, 8th stage of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple Realm. How can you fight against them? Hurry up and run. I just need to hold on for a while more. If I escape, then I'm dead meat. As Su Yun said, he waved his sword, and crossed swords with the first inner sect guard. A large number of sword shadows surrounded him, but Su Yun dodged left and right. His speed was extremely fast. He cleverly slipped through the gaps between the swords. He was as cunning as a loach. Just run away and it's over? Hold on for a while more? The Sword Elder was completely unable to understand this rascal's thinking. But as matters stood, he could not ask any further. He could only secretly imbue spirit energy into Su Yun's body to help him defend against the inner sect guards. The servant hat man saw that Su Yun actually pulled out his sword and immediately clapped his hands. Good! Su Yun actually dared to resist. Everyone, you can kill him on the spot, no need to show mercy. Yes, sir. Many of the guards shouted. After that, mystical techniques surged on the guards' weapons. The thick, profound spirit chi turned into a storm, enveloping Su Yun, sealing all his escape routes. Following that, all the guards attacked together, attacking in all directions. This move, even if Su Yun had the cultivation of the spirit core disciple realm, he would definitely not be able to defend against it. Suddenly, a ray of snow-white sword descended from the sky and landed in front of Su Yun. The sword blade's suppressive swift wind spirit chi instantly dispersed in all 4 directions. Like splashing water, it swept away the profound spirit storm that was enveloping Su Yun and forced all the inner sect guards to retreat. All the guards staggered, as if they were pushed away by an invisible hand. They retreated a full 10 meters before stopping, almost falling to the ground. Who? The main house guard shouted. It's me. A snow-white figure suddenly flew over, like lightning. It landed in front of Su Yun. Everyone looked. It was a beautiful young lady dressed in a snow-white Blade Master outfit, with long hair like a waterfall, bright eyes and white teeth. The young lady had a ribbon on her head, her cheeks were straight, her skin was snow-white, she was extremely beautiful. The gold-lined snow-white Blade Master outfit matched her unique temperament, making her look even more noble. But at this moment, the young lady's face was extremely gloomy. That pair of beautiful autumn water eyes looked as if she wanted to eat someone, overbearing. "It's young Miss." The main house guard recognized the person, and immediately jumped down from the single-horned bull, kneeling on one knee. "Guy Lin greets Miss Ching Er." "We greet Miss Ching Er." The inner sect guards did not dare to be negligent. They hurriedly climbed up, kneeled down on both knees, and greeted respectfully. "Who allowed you to come here?" Ching Er's phoenix eyes stared coldly and said softly, "Scram? All of you scram." But, after she said that, none of the guards moved. "Miss Ching Er, these guards are under the orders of the great clan elder, to capture our Su family's traitor, Su Yun." At this time, the person wearing the servant hat walked forward, and said arrogantly, "I advise Miss Ching Er not to meddle in other people's business. It's better for you to leave quickly, or else when we fight later, whether these guards listen to the great clan elder or you, I think you know better than us." After saying that, it attracted Ching Er's dissatisfaction. "You're looking for death." She was so angry, her figure flashed, and directly went near the man wearing the servant hat and slapped him. Plop! The man in the servant hat flipped in the air, and fiercely fell to the ground. Ching Er shouted, "It was obviously Su Dong Hao who made the first move. What has it got to do with my young master? The truth of the matter has not been investigated clearly. No one is allowed to touch my young master. If you don't scram, I'll kill you." Her voice fell to the ground. Ching Er waved her hand, and with a clang, the snow-white sword in front of Su Yun instantly flew to Ching Er's palm. Ching Er waved, and the sword tip was placed on the neck of the man in the hat. The cold sword aura was like a needle piercing his flesh. The man in the hat trembled, his mouth opened, but not a single word came out. "Scram!" Ching Er gave her last warning. The man in the hat could not take it any more. He staggered up, his eyes staring at Ching Er in fear. Both his legs were weak, and he was about to retreat. But, just as he was about to escape, a roar came from afar. Everyone anxiously looked towards the source of the sound, only to see a large number of people riding on unicorns, and in the middle of the unicorns, a purple-horned beast was pulling a gigantic carriage. The carriage's curtains swayed gently, and a figure could be vaguely seen sitting inside. "Great clan elder," Ching Er muttered. "Seems like the situation is not good." Su Yun looked to the side and looked at the horizon. "Why is he not here yet?" "Young master." Just then, Ching Er hurriedly turned back and shouted to Su Yun, "The great clan elder is here. I am afraid this matter will not be resolved so easily. Quickly run. Quickly leave the Su family, or else you will definitely die." "Leave the Su family?" Su Yun was stunned. "Then what are you going to do?" "I will be fine, young master. Quickly leave. I will help you delay the great clan elder. If you delay any longer, it will be too late." Ching Er's face was full of anxiety, and tears were about to overflow from the corner of her eyes. Su Yun had caused too much trouble this time. Even if it was Ching Er, she would not be able to protect him. But Su Yun calmly smiled, and reached out to caress Ching Er's milky smooth face, and said, "I can't leave, and I will not leave. You." Ching Er was really anxious and angry. She stamped her feet, but could not say a word. Very quickly, the carriage arrived, and in this moment, there were more than 10 guards from the main house. The strongest was actually a first-stage Spirit Core disciple. This kind of lineup was not something Su Yun could contend against. If he acted blindly without thinking, he would definitely be killed on the spot. The air rippled with a trace of solemn and oppressive feeling. The purple-horned beast roared, and pulled the carriage to the front of the small house. The crowd automatically gave way. A beautiful servant hurriedly came over, opened the curtain, and inside, an old man with white hair and a beard that reached his waist bowed and walked out. The old man's robe was embroidered with purple lines, with a jade belt. Hanging on his waist was an order plate made of green flawless jade. On the order plate was a big, venerable word carved. "We pay our respects to the great clan elder." The inner sect guards hurriedly bowed. Ching Er's face was pale, she hesitated, but still cupped her fists and bowed. "Ching Er pays her respects to the great clan elder." And the man with a beard that reached his waist nodded indifferently. There was no joy nor sorrow in his eyes. His sunken but extremely bright eyes looked at Su Yun, expressionless, and directly walked forward. Walking to the front, he stopped. The great clan elder used an old but dignified voice and said, "You are Su Yun?" But Su Yun's expression was sluggish. He stood in his original position, not saying a word, not moving at all. "Audacious! The great clan elder asked you a question, why aren't you answering?" The main house guard at the side shouted angrily. But Su Yun turned a deaf ear and did not even bow. Disrespectful and presumptuous. He is a traitor of the Su family. The great clan elder was not courteous and coldly said, "Behead him." "Yes." All the guards bellowed, stood up and walked towards Su Yun. "Great clan elder, don't. Please stop." Ching Er anxiously shouted. But the great clan elder directly ignored her shouts and persisted. Su Yun cut off his own son's arm, and was so rude. He was just an outer sect disciple. How could he let Su Yun go? But just as Su Yun was surrounded, and the situation was precarious, a slightly hurried shout suddenly sounded. "Stop! Great clan elder, please stop!" The great clan elder raised his head to look, and saw a group of people dressed in long gowns, their entire bodies wrapped in white mist rushing over. The leader was a bald, skinny old man, looking at his anxious face. He could not wait to rush over. "Pill King?" The great clan elder was surprised. "People from Blossom Heart Valley?" Su Yun secretly looked towards the horizon, and the big rock hanging in his heart finally loosened. "Luckily I made it in time." Chapter 119. "Wait a minute!" the great clan elder bellowed. The sudden visit from Blossom Heart Valley was out of the ordinary, and this time, it was the famous Pill King Zhang Mo of Blossom Heart Valley. How could he dare to mess around? Pill King Zhang Mo, Ghost Hand Dr. Guillermo Ju led a group of Blossom Heart Valley elite disciples and flew over, landing in the middle of the crowd. The Su family guards all took a step back. Blossom Heart Valley had a total of more than 30 people. All of them were spirit intermediate disciples and above. All of them were divine hands. "I wonder why the Pill King has graced us with his presence?" the great clan elder asked indifferently, his voice oozing with a trace of dissatisfaction. Of course, Zhang Mo did not reply, but with a dignified face, he quickly walked in front of Su Yun, extended his hand and tapped on Su Yun's chest. Suddenly, Su Yun's eyes closed, and his whole body fell to the ground. Everyone was stunned. Ching Er's eyes were red. She quickly stepped forward and anxiously asked, "Senior Pill King, what did you do to my young master?" "Don't worry." The skinny bald old man Pill King Zhang Mo waved his hand, then flipped Su Yun over, carefully pressed on the acupuncture point on his chest a few times, then took out some pills and swallowed them. "Master Pill King, what are you doing?" The great clan elder could not hold it in anymore. He was anxious to kill Su Yun, to vent his anger. What was the Pill King doing here? But the Pill King simply spat out 2 words. "Cure illness." "Cure illness?" "Yes, cure illness." The Pill King extended his hand, pressed on Su Yun's chest, and said while injecting qi, "Su Yun's father and I were close friends. Now that he is gone, leaving behind his only son, I can't bear it. Some time ago, Su Yun and I met by chance in Broken Break City, and he told me about his talent disappearing. I analyzed it, and found out that he was suffering from a strange illness, so I tried to cure him, but my prescription was incomplete, causing him to go crazy sometimes, and randomly cut people. Randomly cut people. The great clan elder's heart suddenly tightened. He felt something was wrong. Don't tell me young Master Su Dong Hao's arm was because of young Master's illness? Qing Er cleverly followed up. The Pill King heard, revealed a surprised look, and asked, "Oh? Did something bad happen?" The great clan elder's face darkened. He seemed to have guessed something, but he still opened his mouth and told them about Su Yun and Su Dong Hao. After the Medicine King heard this, he shook his head. "Great Elder brought so many people here, I'm afraid it's for this matter?" "Actually, this matter is not Su Yun's fault. The matter of the illness cannot be controlled by ordinary people, so Su Yun is not guilty. I hope that the great clan elder will give me face and let this matter go." "How is this possible?" The great elder snorted coldly. "My son's arm was chopped off. Although it can be reattached, are we going to pretend that the pain he suffered didn't happen? With great elder's status, how could he bother with an outer sect disciple with low cultivation?" The Medicine King did not have a good temper and shouted, "This person is the son of my old friend. I will not allow anything to happen to him. Later, I will report this matter to your patriarch. This person's crime will be decided by your patriarch." "You!" The great clan elder was flustered. His eyes stared at the Medicine King. After a while, he said coldly, "Since this person has an illness, and when the illness acts up, he will randomly cut people, then he is a dangerous person. I will not bother about the matter of him cutting Dong Hao, but he is a threat to the Su family. I need to lock him up and watch him closely. If he was locked up by the great clan elder, how could he come out alive?" But the Medicine King shook his head. "No, no, no. I came here today to find a way to cure his illness. Don't worry, the matter of Su Yun randomly cutting people will not happen again. I will cure him today." The great clan elder's face became darker and darker. His snow-white beard that reached his waist trembled. He felt that the Medicine King was messing with him, but he had no way to refute this person's words. In terms of illnesses, he was the undisputed authority. After a while, he was at his wits' end. The great clan elder finally flung his long gown, turned and shouted coldly, "The Medicine King has graced us with your presence. I will inform the patriarch to welcome you. I will not accompany you." Humph! With that, he turned and left. "In a while, I will personally go to the main house to meet the patriarch. There is no need to inform him," the Medicine King shouted. But the great clan elder did not respond to him. He left with a dense hatred. With the Medicine King's protection, Qing Er was surprised and happy. Seeing that the main house's cavalry had left, Qing Er quickly turned and looked at the experts of Blossom Heart Valley. She immediately knelt down. "Thank you, seniors, for saving me. Thank you. AI. Girl, what are you doing?" The Medicine King anxiously helped Qing Er up. "Young master is my everything. You saved him, which is equivalent to saving me. Your kindness, Qing Er, will remember it in my heart. I will definitely repay you in the future," Qing Er said gratefully. "Ha ha ha ha, girl, you are too polite. Little friend Su Yun is in trouble. How can I just stand by and watch?" The eccentric Medicine King laughed out loud. His voice was full of joy. Little friend Su Yun? Qing Er did not understand. But in her memories, the old master did not seem to have any interactions with the Medicine King. The Medicine King waved his hand. 2 stronger Blossom Heart Valley disciples came and carried Su Yun into the house. Upon entering the house, the unconscious Su Yun suddenly opened his eyes. He was completely awake. "Young master!" Qing Er jumped in fright, her entire person was dumbstruck. "Qing Er!" Su Yun exhaled with a smile on his face. Qing Er anxiously went over and held onto Su Yun's hand. Her pale and delicate face finally revealed a relaxed smile. "Young master, it's good that you are fine. With that, she turned her head and looked at the Medicine King. Senior Medicine King truly lives up to his name. In such a short time, you were able to cure young master. It is truly miraculous. Cured? Ha 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 ha. Su Yun laughed out loud. I am not sick. Ching Er was confused. Not sick. This is just a trick of little friend. The Medicine King laughed. Trick? Yes. Guimo Ju, who was by the side, said, previously, when Master Su Yun visited my Blossom Heart Valley, my Pill King had given him an order badge. Master Su Yun used this order badge to contact us, and asked us to rush over at top speed, and put on a good show. Put on a show? Ching Er was stunned. Suddenly she realized, don't tell me. Yes. Little friend Su Yun is not sick. The words he said just now were just to let the Su family not pursue the matter of Su Yun cutting off Su Dong Hao's arm. The great clan elder would not be able to find any evidence against him. The Medicine King said. Ching Er finally understood. She knew why Su Yun dared to touch Su Dong Hao. He had already thought of a way out. Thank you everyone for your help this time. Su Yun got off the bed and cupped his fist. It's what we should do. The prescription that you told me just now solved my many years of doubt. What's this little help? The Medicine King laughed. I was really afraid that after you got the prescription, you would rush to research it and delay my matters here. Su Yun laughed bitterly. If that's the case, even if I don't die, I'll lose a layer of skin. Why would I? Zhang Mo said. I'm a man with principles. Guimo Ju wiped the sweat off his face. Oh right, Su Xingyang and Su Xian, you are already on their way. I believe they will reach your valley soon. I hope your valley can take care of them and heal their injuries. Also, if it's possible, I hope your valley can take them in. Su Yun spat out a mouthful of turbid air. They offended Su Dong Hao, which means they offended the great clan elder. They can't stay in the Su family anymore. Only your valley can take them in. To repay you, I will help your valley develop the perfect God Jade Heart pill prescription and gift it to your valley. Really? That's great. Zhang Mo was ecstatic. He clapped his hands like a child. His previous dignified look disappeared without a trace. Suddenly, his eyes emitted a golden light. He slyly laughed. Speaking of which, Su Yun, you also offended the great clan elder. Why don't you join our Blossom Heart Valley? That won't do. Su Yun shook his head. If I really wanted to join Blossom Heart Valley, why would I let you guys act with me? What? You still miss the Su family? Of course. My surname is Su. Go, who would believe that? Zhang Mo helped to resolve the crisis, and then went to the main house to pay a visit to the patriarch, and explained the matter. Although the great clan elder had some opinions on this matter, the patriarch could not offend the people of Blossom Heart Valley just because of the great clan elder's useless son, so the matter was dropped. After this matter, Su Yun explained to the Su family the reason why his cultivation increased so much. He was sick and had received treatment. From then on, no one in the Su family dared to provoke Su Yun. They understood that he was no longer the useless trash. Furthermore, he had the support of the Pill King from Blossom Heart Valley. They could not afford to offend him. Main house. Inside the spiritual medicine hall. Looking at Su Dong Hao, who had just finished reattaching his arm, the great clan elder's face was gloomy and scary. It was like the sky before a storm. Pill King from Blossom Heart Valley. The great clan elder clenched his fists and said with a suppressed voice, You think you can protect Su Yun? Humph. An outsider wants to meddle in our Su family's matters? I will definitely teach you a lesson. Just then, a figure quickly walked in. Reporting to the great clan elder, Inner Sect Deacon Su Shilong requests an audience. Let him in. The great clan elder said indifferently. That person cupped his hands and left. After a while, Su Shilong quietly walked into the spiritual medicine hall with a solemn and respectful expression. He first looked at the unconscious Su Dong Hao on the bed, then bowed to the great clan elder. Inner Sect Deacon Su Shilong greets the great clan elder. And the great clan elder nodded. Is young master all right? Su Shilong asked carefully. He's fine for now. That's good. Su Shilong heaved a sigh of relief, then cupped his fists and said, Great clan elder, Shilong is here to confirm with you the name list of participants for the meeting of heroes. Currently, there are 10 seated participants from the inner sect and 20 participants from the main sect. May I know if there are any more participants? Meeting of heroes? The great clan elder heard and lowered his head to think. Calculating the time, the meeting of heroes that happens once every 3 years is about to begin. At that time, all the sects, families, powers and even countries in the southern continent will have to send people to participate. This is a good opportunity for our Su family to make a name for ourselves. We must not neglect it. Yes, because we can only send disciples. I have already gathered all the outstanding participants from the main sect of the Su family. This year's participants are much more outstanding than the previous year. I believe we will definitely achieve good results. Results? Results are secondary. The most important thing is the treasures from the Congregate of Treasures sect. I wonder what treasures they will use as the prizes for this meeting of heroes. The great clan elder said indifferently. Then, he took the name list from Su Shilong and scanned through it. Not bad, these people are qualified. Hey. Good. Master, I will arrange it like this. The great clan elder nodded and said, If this time, you bring our Su family the 5th from the bottom again, you can bring your head to see the patriarch. When Su Shilong heard this, his whole body trembled. He was so scared that he almost kneeled on the ground. He stood rooted to the ground. He did not know if he should leave or not. The last time the Su family suffered a crushing defeat, he was almost thrown out of the Su family. If he did not obtain a good ranking this time, he, Su Shilong, would be miserable. Oh right. The great clan elder seemed to have thought of something. He opened his eyes and asked, Is Qing Er's name on the list? This. Su Shilong quickly looked at the name list and shook his head. Not on it. Put Su Yun and Qing Er's names on it. Ah. Su Shilong was stunned. Clan elder, this participant must at least have a spirit core disciple. Miss Qing Er has the qualifications, but that's Su Yun. I heard he is only a spirit intermediate disciple. If he goes, wouldn't that be suicide? With that said, the great clan elder did not explain. His eyes stared at Su Shilong calmly, as if he could see through him. Su Shilong was so scared that he quickly looked away. He saw the person lying on the bed. His whole body trembled. He immediately understood and quickly cupped his fists. This subordinate understands. Great clan elder. This subordinate understands. This subordinate will do it now. With that, he quickly retreated. Don't disappoint me, the great clan elder said indifferently. Chapter 120. Su Dong Hao's matter had come to an end, but the days of training were not peaceful. There were rumors in the Su family's inner sect that Su Yurong was enraged because of the matter, and wanted to take revenge on Su Yun. After all, Su Dong Hao was her beloved brother, and was also the person she had hired to capture Su Xianyu. Su Yun chopped off Su Dong Hao's arm. No matter if he was really sick or pretending to be crazy, Su Yurong would not let it go. Hearing this rumor, Su Yun did not dare to let his guard down. Su Dong Hao was not someone who was easy to deal with, and she, Su Yurong, was even more so. Furthermore, the rumor was that Su Yurong was harvesting Yin to nourish Yin. If there was no such thing, how could there be such baseless rumors? After a period of blood tempering, the 100 demon god slaying array was finally completed. Calculating the time, it was about time to retrieve the sprite's shadow. Coincidentally, he could avoid Su Yurong's revenge during this period of time. The timing was just right. However, before Su Yun could set off to find the sprite's shadow, Xian Yu and Xing Yang, who he had arranged to go to Blossom Heart Valley for treatment, returned to the Su family. Inside the small house, the two of them had just recovered from their injuries and stood in front of Su Yun. "What are you two doing back here?" Su Yun frowned and said sternly, "It's too dangerous for you to stay in the Su family. Isn't it better to stay in Blossom Heart Valley?" "Staying in Blossom Heart Valley is good, but you are still in the Su family. How can we be at ease?" Su Xian Yu bit her lips, her eyes quietly looked at Su Yun's gloomy face, and carefully said, "If Big Brother goes to Blossom Heart Valley, we will not come back. I have to stay in the Su family." Su Yun said helplessly, "Hurry up and go back to Blossom Heart Valley. The Pill King will take care of you. Isn't it better there than in the Su family?" "Big Brother, if you don't leave, we won't leave. If we stay in the Su family, we can still help you." Although Su Dong Hao had lost an arm, with the Su family's medical skills, it would not be difficult to reattach his arm. Once he recovered, he would probably take revenge on Big Brother. Furthermore, Su Dongfang and Su Yurong would definitely help him. "How can you let Big Brother face these people alone?" Xing Yang said honestly, but his eyes revealed a trace of determination. Su Yun's heart warmed, but he could not let his emotions get the better of him. However, he also understood the two of them and knew that it was absolutely impossible to force them to leave. He lowered his head and pondered for a moment. Suddenly, he thought of something and raised his head. "Are you really going to stay in the Su family?" The two nodded without hesitation. "That's good. I still have a way to keep you safe and help me." "What method?" Su Xinyue impatiently asked. "To seek refuge with Prince Fu Su," Su Yun said softly. Fu Su was not ordinary, although Su Yun did not interact much with him. He could see the ambition hidden deep in his eyes. Since he was an ambitious person, his greed for strength was also abnormally astonishing. Xian Yu and Xing Yang were both inner sect disciples with decent talent. Since they took the initiative to express goodwill to him, he definitely would not refuse. With the protection of Prince Fu Su, even the great clan elder did not dare to act recklessly. Furthermore, Xing Yang and New Moon could also take the opportunity to find out some secrets for Su Yun. Why did the Su family want to form a marriage alliance with the Profound Sky sect? Why would the marriage partner be Qing Er, whom he had painstakingly cultivated? The Su family painstakingly nurtured Qing Er just to give her to others? What was hidden within? Was it just to climb up the tree that was the Profound Sky sect? These questions lingered in his mind, but it was not the time to think about it. Everything had calmed down. Su Yun prepared himself, packed his things and left the Su family. With the Su family as the center, he walked towards the west. After 7 days of effort, he would be able to enter the Western Tomb region that was adjacent to the Julian region. In the middle of the Western Tomb region, there was a famous active volcano, called Exuding Fire. At the entrance of the Exuding Fire volcano, there was a mystical sect. The people in the sect mainly cultivated the Scarlet Star Spirit Chi, which was related to the fire. They borrowed the power of the active volcano to absorb the high temperature released by the volcano's magma to cultivate. The Scarlet Star Spirit Chi was extremely pure. The sect's strength was strong, with hundreds of thousands of disciples, spread throughout the entire Sky Martial continent. It was the #1 sect in the Western Tomb region. It was called Exuding Fire sect. Although Hu Rong's cultivation was not as high as the Heavenly Scale Fish King, and was not considered strong among the many elders of the Exuding Fire sect, but he could rely on his dense Scarlet Star Spirit Chi to drag the Heavenly Scale Fish King out of Tai Ching Lake. From this, it could be seen that the strongest aspect of the Exuding Fire sect was its power. In terms of power, the Exuding Fire sect was undoubtedly the #1 in the southern region. Just that. These people who relied on the volcano to cultivate did not know that in the desolate mountain beside the Exuding Fire volcano, there was a hidden treasure. Gotcha. Su Yun kicked away the gravel in front of his feet and walked on the desolate mountain road. In order to save time, he almost ran non-stop, and the spirit stallion was almost exhausted to death. Only in a short 7 days did he reach here. He took down the Su family disciple badge from his waist, put on the broken mask, put on the black blade master clothes, took out the death sword from his storage ring, carried it on his back, stepped on the sword sheath, and walked up the mountain. There was nothing on the desolate mountain. Other than the desolate rocks, there was only sand, and very few weeds grew. It's about here. Halfway up the mountain, he stopped. He looked around, thought for a while, then took out the 100 demon extermination god array from his storage ring, and walked forward. On the craggy mountain, there was a small concave path. Following the small path for tens of meters, there was a small crevice, and an adult could pass through it if they turned sideways. The surroundings of the volcano were usually suitable for vegetation to grow, but this desolate mountain was different. There were very few vegetation, and they would die after a few days. Even some rocks were withered and withered. There was no other reason, it was because this desolate mountain was actually a person's tomb. The tomb of an absolute strong martial artist who fell. And this person was the existence that held the sprite's shadow. Who was he? Why did he have the sprite's shadow? Why did he die here? Su Yun had no idea. The information about the sprite's shadow was all hearsay. Initially, in order to find the mystery of the disappearance of his own talent, he had traveled to every corner of the continent and knew more secrets than an ordinary person. Walking to the end of the small path, Su Yun threw the 100 demon extermination god array in, then turned sideways, picked up the paper array on the ground, and continued forward. Passing through the crevice, the light inside was dim, and the vision was weak. This seemed to be the interior of the mountain. At first, the space was extremely narrow, and people could only crawl on the ground to move forward. As they moved forward, the space slowly became bigger, and finally, it became clear. At the end, a huge space appeared in front of Su Yun's eyes. Great! Su Yun was overjoyed. Looking at the huge space, he took out Thousand Deep Sword, stepped on the sword body and flew down. Landing on the ground, he looked around, and saw that there was a huge black hole on the right side of the space. Following this black hole, there would be a large number of hollow dead spirits. The hollow dead spirits were the evil spirits that were born from the strong martial artist's hair. Their strength was around the 5th stage of the spirit intermediate disciple realm. Su Yun did not know how many there were, but there should be quite a number. If he could pass through these hollow dead spirits, he would be able to reach the place where the strong martial artist was buried, and then, he would be able to find the sprite's shadow. Su Yun took a deep breath, stared at the pitch-black hole, and walked over. He was currently at the 6th stage of the spirit intermediate disciple realm. Against these hollow dead spirits, it should be enough. But if he were to fight them head-on, he would most likely be sucked dry by these hollow dead spirits, and turn into a dried corpse. Coming to the front of the hole, he did not dare to enter. Instead, he laid on the rock wall, looking for something. After about the time it took to burn a stick of incense, a hole the size of a finger was dug out. Seeing that, Su Yun was overjoyed. He remembered that the person who took the sprite's shadow once mentioned this to his friend after drinking. Hollow dead spirits were born from hair, and there were many of them. But their body was made from hair, and they were spirits, so they did not have much weight. They were as light as a feather, and when the wind blew, they would fly away. So, the best way to defend against them was the wind. And on the rock wall, that person accidentally found a wind eye that was connected to the outside of the mountain. By expanding the wind eye, the wind from the outside of the mountain could enter the space through the wind eye, filling up the interior and forming a flow. With the help of the wind, he could easily kill the hollow dead spirits. Su Yun did not dare to delay. He pulled out Thousand Deep Sword and struck the wind eye again and again. Kacha! 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 The small hole became bigger and bigger, and the wind eye became bigger and bigger. The wind from the eye hit his body, and the area became wider and wider. Perspiration dripped from his face, but Su Yun did not stop. He did not dare to instigate his profound spirit qi. Any demonic being was extremely sensitive to profound spirit qi, and pure strength was the most suitable. Ho! Suddenly, waves of strange sounds came out from the black hole. Su Yun's body froze. He anxiously stopped his movements and looked to the side. The hollow dead spirits did not appear. That means it did not discover me. Then, what is it crying out for? Su Yun's mind was in a mess. He felt that something was wrong. After thinking for a while, he anxiously picked up the broken stones and stuffed them into the wind eye. Then, he carried Thousand Deep Sword and carefully went closer to the black hole. As he neared the black hole, waves of cold qi rippled out. It pierced the hairs on his body and caused goosebumps to appear on his skin. Chi 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 chi, subtle sounds came out from the black hole. Following that, the hollow dead spirit's miserable cries came out from the black hole again. Ho! The cries did not stop. It was disorderly and it was extremely horrifying. What was going on? Su Yun, who was standing at the entrance of the black hole, took a deep breath. He stared at the darkness in front of him. He mustered his courage and carefully walked in. Rascal, don't go! Just at this time, the Sword Elder's voice came out. Su Yun's footsteps froze and he anxiously retreated. After leaving the black hole, he asked, "Senior, what's wrong?" "There's someone," the Sword Elder anxiously exclaimed, "and the qi is very strong. That person is intentionally concealing his qi. If I was not a spirit body, I would be extremely sensitive to qi. I'm afraid I would not be able to capture this person's qi. Don't go in. Quickly hide. If you are discovered by that person, you're dead." What? Su Yun was shocked, but he did not dare to think too much. He looked around and found a big rock to hide behind. He took out the Limitless Sword Manual and used it to conceal his qi. He never thought that someone would actually come here. Could it be that they were also after the sprite's shadow? Chapter 121. Ho! The hollow dead spirits screamed non-stop, followed by a series of explosions. An extremely weak, profound spirit qi leaked out from the black hole. Su Yun hid behind the rock, his eyes staring intently at the black hole, his nerves tensed up. Since the Sword Elder said it was an almighty being, then based on his current strength, he would not be able to defend against it. With the Limitless Sword Manual as a cover, he could conceal his own qi and temporarily hide here. He was not worried that the sprite's shadow would be taken away by this person, because according to the memories of his previous life, the sprite's shadow was not taken away at this time. Furthermore, the enchantment was not something an ordinary person could open. Su Yun held his breath and waited behind the rock. After an unknown period of time, the hollow dead spirit's screams gradually became softer. Su Yun perked up his ears and listened quietly. After about an incense worth of time, the hollow dead spirit's screams completely disappeared. Dong! Suddenly, a deafening sound rang out, and a layer of dark green patterns appeared on the walls of the inner mountain space. These patterns were like a barrier, covering the entire inner mountain space, including the inner wall of the black hole, tightly shrouding it. "This is the wall-protecting heart array!" Su Yun exclaimed. "Wall-protecting heart array?" Hearing that, the Sword Elder was stunned for a moment. Then, he said in shock, "The kind of array that is sealed in a treasure and can automatically activate to protect the body?" "Yes." Su Yun nodded his head. "It is also one of the few arrays in Sky Martial Continent that has spirituality." He shifted his gaze away and observed the gradually dimming lines on the walls. Then, he said softly, "After the strong cultivator died, the wall-protecting heart array on his body automatically sealed the path to where he was buried. Now, the person in the black hole is trying to open a path, but the wall-protecting heart array automatically activated to defend against that person's attack. I'm afraid it will take a while to break through. The sword elder was slightly surprised. This rascal, I am the sect leader of the Limitless Sword sect. I have a lot of experience and have come into contact with many people. There are not many people who know about the wall-protecting heart array. Why does this rascal know so much about it? What kind of freak is he? Dong! The sound came out again. The wall-protecting heart array automatically activated again. It was filled with deep green ripples, causing the dark mountain space to look extremely demonic. Dong! 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 The sound did not seem to stop. Su Yun squinted his eyes and suddenly understood something. This wall of heart protection array seemed to use profound spirit chi as a response. If he used profound spirit chi to attack, it would be triggered. When he dug the wind eye earlier, he did not use his profound spirit chi. That was why he did not trigger the wall of heart protection array. If not, he would not be able to expand the wind eye. After about 20 sounds, the sound finally stopped. Su Yun shrunk his body and even stopped breathing. He secretly revealed one of his eyes and quietly stared at the black hole, his heart beating rapidly. Dong! Finally, from the black hole, light footsteps could be heard. From the looks of it, these people were unable to break the wall of heart protection array and chose to give up. It was probably the sound of 2 footsteps, from small to loud, from light to heavy. Although they were walking out of the black hole, Su Yun could not feel any profound spirit chi from the 2 of them. If he was not an expert, how could he conceal his profound spirit chi to such an impenetrable level? I really didn't expect that this guy would have a natural burial place even after his death. The people in the rumors are really not to be underestimated. The voice was gloomy and cold, but it was a mature female voice. Su Yun squinted his eyes and stared at the black hole, only to see 2 figures slowly walking out. It was a tall man wearing a black robe and a black crown. His eyes were green, and his long hair was a demonic green. Especially his skin, which was covered in green lines. It was extremely terrifying, and the lines on his black robe were slowly wriggling as if they were alive. Beside the man was a woman in a green dress. The woman's long dress went past her knees, revealing a small section of her snow-white, beautiful legs. Her figure was incomparably enchanting, with a curvy front and a perky back, provoking wild and fanciful thoughts. Looking at her face, it was truly awe-inspiring. What kind of beautiful face would that be? Her eyebrows were as deep as the mountains. Her cherry lips were small. Her skin was creamy. Her slightly curly green hair cascaded lazily on her shoulders. Her eyes were like 2 sparkling and translucent gems. She was extremely charming. What was even more strange was that this woman had an indescribable temperament. Her temperament was incomparably wonderful. She gave off a kind of majesty that could not be offended. But she also had a kind of captivating charm that could captivate one's soul. She was simply like a demon. Su Yun secretly shook his head and shouted out loud. If he did not have the everlasting stone, then with just one look, he would have been subdued by the beauty of this woman. He would have obediently walked out and kowtowed under her pomegranate skirt. If we don't have that treasure, all our efforts will be in vain. We must think of a way to break this enchantment. The lady in green said. The man cupped his fists and said respectfully, Princess, the treasure is not easy to obtain. This enchantment is hard to break. It is not because our strength is not pure. It is because we have not found the flaw in the enchantment. If we can find the flaw, even if it is an ant, we can easily crush it. When the lady in green heard this, she frowned. Have you found the flaw? Not yet. Then do you have a plan? I heard that the heavenly crystal has appeared. Maybe we can rely on the power of the heavenly crystal to break the enchantment and obtain the treasure. I have already sent people to investigate the heavenly crystal. It is said that the Immortal Sword sect was in contact with the heavenly crystal. After investigation, the heavenly crystal is now in the hands of a person called Limitless. The Immortal Sword Sect and the Minging School are searching for this person, but Limitless is nowhere to be found. The heavenly crystal will be difficult to obtain in a short time. The lady in green said lightly. I have found out that the Immortal Sword Sect's elder Long Xianli and the Ming-Ing School's protector, Hu Qian, may went to the same place. Maybe Limitless is there. Oh! The lady turned her white neck and looked at him. Where? Su family. The man respectfully said. Su family? Then have you sent people to investigate? 2 people have already gone. Good. The lady in green nodded. Let your people investigate first. We will think of a way here. Whether it is the heavenly crystal or the treasure, I want it all. Before we succeed, we need more strength to help us. The man knelt down on one knee and lowered his head with a pious look. The lady did not even look at him. She lightly tapped her feet and flew into the air like a leaf towards the tunnel. The man saw this and quickly got up and followed. Su Yun squinted his eyes. Brat, there are quite a lot of people who are thinking about the heavenly crystal. These 2 brats, I am afraid they are not weaker than Long Xianli. The Sword Elder's voice sounded. And Su Yun nodded. I did not expect the Su family to be so deep. I have to be careful in the future and try to find those 2 brats. Then what do you plan to do now? Do you still want to get the sprite's shadow? The Sword Elder asked. Of course. If I do not get the sprite's shadow, wouldn't this trip be a waste? As Su Yun said this, he sat there and waited quietly. The Limitless Sword Manual was placed on his chest. He believed that the chi would not leak out and those people would not be able to sense his presence. Just like that, Su Yun sat there for half a day. He felt that the 2 of them should have left. He walked out of the stone and headed towards the black hole. The illusory dead spirits in the black hole had all been killed by those 2, and the ground was covered with the hairs of the illusory dead spirits after they died. Although they were dead, it wouldn't be long before new illusory dead spirits would be born from the corpse of that expert. The 2 of them had helped him settle the hollow dead spirits and saved him a lot of effort. Su Yun was happy. He carried the 1,000-deep sword and carefully walked into the black hole. The black hole was darker than the inside of the mountain. There was almost no light here. If a normal person was here, he would have become blind. Luckily, Su Yun had the heavenly scale divine eye. In such a dark place, he could still see the world. The black hole was not long. It was about 100 meters. Along the way, there were more than 100 hollow dead spirits' corpses. Seeing this, he could not help but break out in cold sweat. If he were to fight and use the wind eye, he did not know how long it would take. He was afraid that it would not end without a few days and nights. Huh! Suddenly, Su Yun's gaze landed on the hollow dead spirits' corpses. These hollow dead spirits had not died for long. The corpses had not turned back into hairs. Their slender bodies were still glowing. His eyes fell on the center of the corpse in front of him and saw that there was a layer of strange blue light there. Spirit power! The Sword Elder's excited voice came out. Spirit power? Yes. The Sword Elder anxiously said, these hollow dead spirits are the same as me. They rely on their spiritual bodies. Their spiritual power is not profound spirit chi, but it is the source of power produced by the human soul. Su Yun, can you give me this spiritual power? With this spirit power, I can become stronger. There are countless benefits for me. Senior, you don't have to be so courteous. If you want, these are all yours. Su Yun laughed and started to pluck the spirits with his bare hands. He threw them into the Limitless Sword Manual. The sword spirit could not wait and immediately absorbed them. Su Yun's speed was extremely fast. The hollow dead spirits had been dead for a long time. The spirit power would disappear. In less than an incense worth of time, the rest of the hollow dead spirits' spirit power were all taken and given to the Sword Elder to absorb. The Sword Elder did not stand on ceremony. After obtaining the spirit power, he immersed himself into the Limitless sword manual silently. Su Yun continued to move forward. Very quickly, he reached the end of the black hole. At the end there was a huge boulder. It sealed off the path behind. No one knew what was behind. But if he could break this boulder, he could easily obtain the sprite's shadow. Most likely, the two people just now were also stuck here. Su Yun lightly sniffed the profound spirit chi in the air that had yet to dissipate. He slowly opened his eyes and took out the flying sky moon mirror from his storage ring. He uncoiled the bone rope and opened the frightening 100 demon extermination god array. I'm depending on you. Su Yun caressed the demonic chi that was soaring to the sky and muttered, "Chirp, chirp, chirp, chirp." Just at this time, the surrounding rock walls suddenly lit up with pearl-sized green eyes. The green eyes shot out a large amount of light rays. High up in the air, it formed a huge array. Then, the array began to operate on its own. A dense and peculiar chi rippled in the array. Su Yun's face congealed. This is left behind by the two people just now. Chapter 122. Looking at the array that was starting to revolve, Su Yun's heart turned solemn. That's right, since the other party had already discovered this place, why would they not leave any defensive measures, to prevent others from discovering this place and taking away the treasures they wanted? This array did not have any killing chi, it did not seem like it wanted to kill him, but the profound spirit chi that it was emitting was very special, as though it was excluding other types of chi. Forget it, quickly taking away the sprite's shadow was the way to go. Su Yun did not dare to be slow, and immediately laid the 100 demon extermination god array flat on the ground. After that, he took out the last material from his bag, and stared at the array eye of the 100 demon extermination god array, and placed it over. Gotcha! The array eye closed that piece of material, and in a breath's time, the entire flying sky moon mirror started to overflow with a blood-red fog-like substance, like a pot of boiling blood, and started to let out a strange goo-goo-goo sound. Su Yun stared at the array, and the demonic nature that was sleeping deep in his soul was gradually awakened. His eyes started to turn red, and started to become strange and cold. That mysterious demonic cultivator's blood. Why would it have such a magical effect? He did not know and did not want to know. What he needed to do now was to offer sacrifices, to offer his own soul, and fuse it with the power of the 100 demons. Demons were not cruel, evil synonyms. True demons were not the maniacs that people talked about. Their pursuit was the same as immortals, and they were all on the highest path. The reason why people feared and hated them was because they could not understand them. Su Yun stepped on the edge of the flying sky moon mirror, stepped on the 100 demon extermination god array, took out the 1,000 deep sword, and took out the death sword from his back. Together with the sword sheath, both swords pierced down. He supported both swords as though he was collapsing. His entire body did not have an ounce of strength, and his chest was heaving up and down, gasping for breath. Gradually, the 100 demon extermination god array released a burst of bloodlight, directly piercing through the wall of heart protection array, through the mountain rocks, out of the barren mountain, and into the clouds. Woo! In a split second, Su Yun's entire body was enveloped by the bloodlight. An intense pain was felt, along with the 1,000 deep sword and the death sword. It was as though he and his two swords were receiving the baptism of the bloodlight. He clenched his teeth and stared at the 100 demon god-killing array, only to see the runes suddenly move on their own. The hundreds of portraits of the devil cultivators, which were either ferocious, mighty, terrifying, or horrifying, suddenly stood up. Their gazes were all focused on Su Yun, and with great difficulty, they moved their bodies that were made of blood and approached him. Kill! Kill all the unfairness in this world. Kill all the injustice in this world. Kill! No one can control you and me. From now on, both of us are free. Darkness is not something people yearn for, but it can hide us well. This way we will be safe. Whether it's a god, an immortal, or a devil, who cares? I just want to be able to spend the rest of my life with the person I love. Could it be that you're not willing to give me all of this? Then I'll tear down the sky and split open the earth. I'll show you that I'm not an ant that you can trample on as you please. Soul? Dignity? Life? Can these make all of my hopes come true? Every single sentence was like a shout, like a wild roar, resounding in his ears. Different voices, but with the same untamed arrogance. This was the voice of the devil. What they were pursuing was actually very simple. Su Yun listened quietly, feeling the unwillingness in their hearts, enduring their anger, despair, and sorrow. Suddenly, the body of the devil cultivator at the front swayed a few times, and then fell towards him. Crash! The blood demon turned into liquid, and poured onto Su Yun's body, and quickly circled around him, finally converging into a devil cultivator diagram, and landed on his body. The demon diagram was sinister, its eyes filled with killing intent, like a peerless killing demon from the 9 hells. Crash! The second demon came over and threw itself into it, turning into a demon diagram. Then the third one. Crash! 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 The 5th, the 6th, until the 100th devil cultivator had completely entered Su Yun's body. His entire body was already covered by the sinister and terrifying demon diagram. At this moment, how could he still be called a human? The ferocious demonic chi caused the entire black hole to shine with a red light. The wall of heart protection array was automatically activated, and was pushed to the limit, as though it was guarding against this chi. Ah! The 100 devil diagram was formed, the devil roared, the barren mountain array, the chi penetrated through the rocks and into the sky. He swore to crush the heaven and earth in his hands. Exuding volcano. Main hall. 6 well-equipped disciples with chi at the first stage of the spirit core disciple stood outside the main hall. Inside the main hall, all the great clan elders of the exuding fire sect had arrived, and were already seated. Even the great clan elder of the exuding fire sect, Yang Gu, had arrived. Hu Rong stood in the middle of the main hall, reporting on the recruitment of new disciples for the exuding fire sect. The continuation of a sect's legacy could not be separated from the recruitment of new disciples. Although the exuding fire sect and the Gu Xie Xin sect agreed to train in the Scarlet Star Spirit Chi, but the two sects were fundamentally different. The exuding fire sect knew how to restrain the Scarlet Star Spirit Chi that would easily bring about an irritable temperament. The exuding fire sect's techniques and Scarlet Star Spirit Chi were of a higher level compared to the Gu Xie Xin sect. The sect's reputation, scale and so on, were not something the Gu Xie Xin sect could compare to. Every year, the number of people who came to participate in the entrance examination was like a river, unending. Hearing Hu Rong's report, the great clan elder Yang Gu closed his eyes and pondered. The others did not speak, and the main hall was extremely quiet. At this time, Yang Gu opened his mouth, his voice was hoarse. This year's recruitment. Actually, I have already discussed with the sect leader, it might be delayed for a few months. When the elders heard, they were all stunned. Why? Hu Rong was puzzled. The previous year's recruitment was the most important. This is related to the continuation of the sect. The recruitment of new blood cannot be delayed. Great clan elder, why did you delay it? Don't be surprised, Yang Gu said. The main thing is that the sect leader hopes that we will be able to obtain a ranking in the upcoming meeting of heroes, so that everyone can shift their focus to the meeting of heroes. Meeting of heroes? All the elders looked at each other, their eyes filled with mist. With the strength of my disciples, getting into the top 10 is not a problem. The rankings are all fake, why does the sect leader care about it? Hu Rong said. That's right. Those sects are greedy for fame, but my exuding fire sect is different. What's the difference between first and last place? Everyone chimed in one after another, but the great clan elder kept on shaking his head. Everyone might not know, But the reason why the sect leader values this meeting of heroes so much is because of the treasures provided by the Congregate of Treasures sect. If we are able to obtain this treasure, it will be of great benefit to my exuding fire sect. Treasure! Everyone was stunned. Hurong cupped his fists and bowed. Please enlighten me, great clan elder. The great clan elder looked at Hurong, and was about to open his mouth and explain everything clearly. But, just as he was about to speak, his face suddenly changed, and he abruptly stood up from his chair. All the great clan elders stood up, and looked at the great clan elder in shock. Just then, a burst of cold and fiendish chi suddenly pervaded the main hall, and the indescribable atmosphere rippled. It was extremely strange. This is? Hurong's eyes widened, feeling that it was extremely inconceivable. Not good. There's a situation. Everyone shouted anxiously. The great clan elder's face was slightly pale. He stared outside. After thinking for a moment, he bellowed, "Activate the mountain barrier enchantment, and also pass down the order. The inner sect disciples and below are not allowed to leave the sect, and let all the sect elites move out. All of you, follow me out to take a look. Let's see who exactly came to my exuding fire sect to behave atrociously." With that, Yang Gu and the rest stepped forward, and transformed into a ray of fiery light that shot out of the main hall. Just then, at the place where the nameless person was buried, the flying sky moon mirror had already turned into ashes, and the 100-demon extermination god array was completely attached to Su Yun's body, and his body was filled with sinister images of demons. He panted heavily, his eyes bloodshot. He raised his pale white face, stared at the big stone in front of him, and stepped over. His left and right hands held Thousand Deep and Death sword. At this moment, the two swords seemed to be possessed. They were extremely red, especially the Death sword. It was trembling crazily, restless, as though it could break free from Su Yun's grip at any time. The sword elder did not make a sound. He was already immune to Su Yun's strange and shocking actions. "What's wrong?" Su Yun raised the death sword in his hand, looking at its crazily trembling look. The corner of his mouth rose, revealing an evil smile. "You can't even handle this bit of chi? It's just the first transformation." With that, Su Yun's face suddenly turned sinister, and he roared, "Ah!" Then, the death sword of Thousand Deep slashed towards the big stone in front of him. The sword tip caused the blood wind to surge violently. The endless destructive chi converged at one point, and struck out with a soul-shaking impact. Clang! Almost at the same time, the wall of heart protecting array was automatically activated, and it was pushed to the limit. It was no longer dark green, but a white bright green, and the entire black hole was lit up. Clang! Death sword. Thousand Deep. They collided with it, creating a loud sound, but they were unable to break it. The wall of heart protecting array flickered incessantly, as though it was using all its strength to defend, vowing to not let the two swords enter. But after a breath, the demonic patterns on Su Yun's body suddenly erupted. With his body as the root, they rushed out of his body, and one after another, the demonic figures extended their sharp claws, grabbing onto the wall of heart protecting array, frantically tearing it apart. 100 demonic figures, layer upon layer, exploded. "Ah!" Mournful screams came out from the demonic figures. It was not a scream of pain, nor was it a scream of despair. It was a scream of anger, a scream of madness. Chi la chi la chi la. The 100 demonic figures exploded with a terrifying power. The sturdy wall of heart protecting array was actually torn apart by the 100 over demonic claws. The intense light dissipated, and the wall of heart protecting array completely collapsed. The entire path was cleared. The ferocious power seemed to be able to tear the void apart. This was true power. This was unparalleled power. Su Yun's heart was even more infatuated. Behind him, there was a small cave. And in that cave, a weathered corpse laid there quietly. The treasures on the corpse were already dim. These treasures were the life treasures. If the person died, the treasures would also fall. But, on that withered finger, there was a ring that was releasing a black light, continuously flickering. Sprite's shadow? Su Yun's blood-red eyes swelled up. Gotcha. Thousand Deep Sword and the Death Sword were on the ground. He took heavy steps, his body swaying as he staggered forward. Finally got it! He took off the ring, pinching it in his hand, his blood-red eyes filled with ecstasy. Got the Sprite's shadow, got the heavenly crystal. With these two treasures, along with the everlasting stone, what else do I have to fear? Ha 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 ha! The ecstasy in his heart made him unable to control it. Waves of hoarse laughter came out from his throat. So it was a little dog that slipped in. Just then, a mature and melodious female voice came from behind. Su Yun turned his body with difficulty, staring at the back, only to see two figures flying out from the green array. This was actually a mystical array that connected space. You actually broke this wall of heart-protecting array, the green-haired man in the black robe exclaimed. And such dense demonic chi, don't tell me this wall of heart-protecting array eats demonic chi? The lady who was addressed as princess by the black-robed man looked at Su Yun. Her expression did not change, her voice imposing. Rascal, give me the Sprite's shadow, or else die. Do you want it? Su Yun raised his blood-red eyes, walking over step by step. He stabbed the Thousand Deep Sword into the ground, his right hand holding the Death Sword, his left hand holding the Sprite's shadow. He walked towards the two of them. If you want it, then I'll give it to you. Chapter 123. Seeing that this person was so obedient, the lady in green and the man felt that something was wrong. Especially when this person's entire body was covered with demonic patterns. It was extremely cautious, and the chi of blood overflowing from his body seemed to be able to make people faint. Was he a demon? But if he was a demon, why did he have the chi of a human? The lady was deep in thought as she became more cautious. Suddenly, a pitch-black ring flew over. The lady in green and the man in green were shocked and looked at the ring. Sprite's shadow. This person actually threw the Sprite's shadow over. The man in green trembled and was overjoyed. Princess! It's the treasure! As soon as he finished speaking, the green-haired man leaped forward and grabbed the pitch-black ring with his hand. Come back! The lady in green robe shouted, but it was too late. At this moment, a sharp sword fiercely slashed over. It was a black sword with a scabbard. The surface of the sword was covered with demonic patterns. The sword hilt had a blood-red gem that shone brightly. It was like the eye of a demon. Waves of death chi revolved around the sword like a hurricane. Humph, you actually slashed over with the scabbard. How arrogant! The man in green was enraged. He felt that the opponent was looking down on him. He immediately grabbed the scabbard with his right hand and reached for the ring with his left hand. Bada! With the scabbard in his hand, the entire sword was locked. But this was not the end. Just as the green-haired man grabbed the scabbard, the person holding the sword suddenly erupted with hundreds of demonic shadows. The demonic shadows were like a flood, reaching out with terrifying demonic claws, directly grabbing at that person. Ah! Despair, anger, and madness roared. The 100 demons gathered. With the power to kill a god, they attacked. Ah! The man in green's face changed. His heart was beating crazily. All the hairs on his body were standing and his scalp was numb. Before he could react, his body was grabbed by countless of demonic claws. The 100 demons exerted their strength. A thick destructive chi seeped out from the demonic claws and tore at his skin and bones. Whoosh! The man in green was torn into pieces. Blood, bones, and internal organs splattered everywhere. A first-stage spirit-soul cultivator. He was killed by Su Yun. What? The lady in green frowned. Su Yun caught the Sprite's shadow that fell from the sky and looked at the lady in jaded green. His entire body was drenched in the green-haired man's blood, and his eyes were filled with an uncontrollable fanaticism and desire to kill. "Then, what about you? Would you like it?" He extended the ring towards the green-robed lady and asked in an evil manner. "All right. Good. All right." The lady in green nodded, her eyes flashing with anger. "Very good. How dare you touch my people? No matter who you are. I will make sure you die without a burial ground." These ruthless words seemed to have triggered a switch in the other party. Suddenly, Su Yun's expression changed. He charged towards the lady in green. The 100 demons moved again. Their imposing manner was like a huge wave that covered the lady in green. This was obviously to kill her. "Humph! Do you think I'm trash?" The anger in the lady's eyes was getting more intense. With a slight movement of her feet, she suddenly disappeared. When she reappeared, she was already more than 10 meters away from Su Yun. She muttered a few chants and moved her fingers slightly. The air around her started to ripple. A large number of fierce beasts rushed out from the ripples and attacked Su Yun. The 100 demons waved their claws and grabbed the fierce demons. In an instant they tore them apart. Then, they started to devour them. After eating the fierce demons, the 100 demons became even more imposing. The lady in green's eyes narrowed. What technique did this man use? What is this thing? Why is it able to devour my power? And it's so strong, buzz buzz buzz. Just as she was thinking, a sound pierced through the air. The lady in green's eyes widened. She looked up to the sky and saw a slender sword coming towards her. The lady in green quickly casted a technique and summoned a shield to defend herself. But in the next second, the person who was covered by the 100 demons suddenly increased his speed. In a blink of an eye, he was in front of her. She seemed to be able to see the fanaticism in the man's mask. Mask, blade master robe, sword sheath? "You are Limitless Sword Lord?" The lady in green suddenly thought of something. But Su Yun did not care about what she said. The 100 devil shadows moved again. They did not have the slightest bit of tenderness for the fairer sex. They directly pulled the woman in green at that moment. He only wanted this woman to die. Because this woman had said that she wanted him to die. Bang! 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 A series of explosions suddenly sounded. Then, a few flames flew over and directly hit Su Yun's body. Su Yun retreated a few steps. His body was ignited with flames. But, he did not feel any pain. The fierce blood chi extinguished the flames. When he looked back, he saw many exuding fire sect people rushing in from the black hole. There were about 20 people. Every one of them was wearing a blazing gold robe. They were holding on to burning treasures and weapons. Their aura was overbearing as they rushed over. Exuding fire sect people. The leader was Yang Gu, Hu Rong and a few other elders. The rest were the elite disciples of exuding fire sect. Their fighting power was outstanding. The lady in green looked at the people coming over. Then, she looked at Su Yun. She pondered for a moment. Suddenly, she waved her hand. A ray of green light rushed up. The wall above them suddenly turned into dust and disappeared. A path to the outside was created by the lady. Without the wall of heart protection array, the barren mountain rocks could be easily destroyed. After the lady rushed out of the exit, she leaped up and followed the opening to escape the barren mountain. Seeing that, Su Yun did not give up. His killing intent rose. He waved his hand. 1,000 deep sword flew over. He stepped on the sword and chased after the lady. Flying sword? He's from the immortal sword sect? Someone exclaimed. That's not right. Hu Rong exclaimed. How can someone from the immortal sword sect have such a fiendish demonic chi? He must be Limitless Sword Lord. Limitless Sword Lord? It's Lord Sword Lord? Why is he here? All the elders were stunned. However, no one was able to answer their questions. Su Yun had placed all his focus on the lady in the jaded green robe. Since this lady was looking for Limitless Sword Lord and had already sent people to the Su family, then, he could not be courteous. She wanted to kill me and take the heavenly crystal. How could he let her go? Su Yun's heart turned cold. His killing intent rose. He did not have any worries and rushed over. The two of them rushed out of the barren mountain and landed in the vast sky. Suddenly, the green-robed lady who was escaping suddenly turned around and faced Su Yun. Her fair and slender hands moved quickly. Suddenly, there were mountains, rivers, hundreds of beasts, stars, and other drawings appearing in her hands. The changes were extremely fast. It was mysterious and amazing. Within a few breaths, there were more than 100 drawings flashing in her hands. Following that, the lady raised both of her hands up high and waved them, causing the catalogue to suddenly disappear, and when it reappeared, it was already around Su Yun. They arranged themselves, with Su Yun as the center. They transformed into a mysterious and beautiful small world, trapping Su Yun, wanting to use this to suppress the demonic shadow that was attached to his body. But these were not ordinary demonic shadows. How strong were their mental states? How could they be tempted by these worldly things? The 100 demons were enraged. The demonic claws appeared again. Demonic chi was released and turned into iron chains. They wrapped around the fake world and tore it apart. "You are actually not tempted," the lady snorted. She did not run away. Instead, she took out a piece of green-colored silk. She waved it gently. The silk rippled and hit Su Yun. Su Yun got closer and was hit by the ripples. He was shocked to find out that the places where his flesh touched the ripples were rotting and withering. However, he still could not feel the slightest bit of pain. The 100 demon extermination god array had given him a powerful demonic nature. The obsession in his heart had shielded him from everything, leaving only a crazy desire to kill. The pain in his body was not within the scope of his consideration. Seeing this guy forcibly resist her spell and rush over here, the woman was also startled. So ruthless. Limitless Sword Lord. What kind of technique is this? The lady asked. But he still did not say a word. When he got closer, he swung his sword. The 100 demons attacked together. The overwhelming attack swept over like a huge wave. The lady leapt back again. She was extremely agile. It was as though she had stepped 100 miles. She only took a small step forward, but she appeared at a faraway place. It was hard for people to catch her figure. Seeing that Su Yun missed, the lady's eyes were filled with ridicule. Her lips curled up. She said calmly, "I seem to see something. Your chi is very weak. You don't seem to be strong. You seem to have borrowed some mystical technique to have such strength. But, don't be mistaken. Although your strength can kill a spirit-soul disciple, it is useless against me. I am not someone you can provoke. Don't be arrogant and think that you can kill me." Obediently hand over the sprite's shadow. "If you do that, I can still spare your life." "Spare my life?" Su Yun stopped. A strange light shone in his eyes. His lips curled up and revealed a smile. "Rascal, let's go." The Sword Elder's voice came out. "Senior, what do you mean?" Su Yun laughed and asked. "You can't beat her. I've misjudged her. Her strength is much more terrifying than what you and I think." "I know." Su Yun nodded and smiled. "But if I don't kill her, in the future, she will come to the Su family and kill me." "She only knows Limitless. She doesn't know Su Yun. Isn't that the same?" The madness in Su Yun's eyes became more and more intense. The devilish smile on his face became more and more intense. The Sword Elder was stunned for a moment. Then, he suddenly realized. At this time, it was not that Su Yun was irrational. It was because of the cultivation technique on his body. It caused his rationality to lean towards killing. To be able to kill, he would not escape. So. The people from Exuding Fire sect flew over. Seeing the two of them confronting each other, Yang Gu anxiously waved his hand and stopped everyone from moving. "Great Clan Elder, I have already informed the sect leader. I believe the Lord will be here soon." Yang Gu nodded. His gaze was fixed on the two of them. He said indifferently, The two of them seem to be fighting. Since it is so, let them fight to the death. Why are they fighting? Why are they here? Hu Rong asked in confusion. I don't know. But we will know soon enough. Great clan elder, who should we help? Hu Rong asked again. Help who? We are not helping anyone. This is our exuding fire sect's territory. They trespassed here without permission. That means they are not putting us exuding fire sect in their eyes. How can we let them go? When they are done fighting, we will clean up the mess. The great clan elder snorted. But Lord Sword Lord he, Limitless Sword Lord once saved Purple Star Academy and the young master of the Mu family. He holds a high position in the mystical mountain range. If we touch him, I'm afraid the Purple Star Academy and the Mu family will not let it go. I'm afraid the entire mystical mountain range will see our exuding fire sect as their enemy. Second clan elder Su Ziying, who was at the side, said worriedly. The great clan elder's face darkened. There was some displeasure in his eyes. But before he could speak, he felt a burst of baleful qi. Then, the entire sky suddenly darkened. What's going on? Everyone was shocked. They looked over anxiously. They saw Limitless Sword Lord raising his right hand. A pitch-black ring flickered on his finger. Chapter 124. Crazy! You're crazy! You're completely crazy! Su Yun, can your body withstand the support of so many powerful enhancement mystical skills? Your body will collapse. The Sword Elder shouted anxiously. But it could not stop Su Yun. He held onto the sprite's shadow and secretly used his power to activate it. Profound spirit qi was like an electric current, activating this extremely small and powerful machine. If it takes too long, I will not be able to withstand it. But if I can kill it quickly, I can ignore it. With that said, the pitch-black ring on the sprite's shadow started to crack. Then, the heart of the ring opened up and moved around like a lotus. After a while, it transformed into a pitch-black lotus ring. The center of the flower was pitch-black, like a black hole. Even the petals were bewitching and strange. There was no aura around it at all. It was like an ordinary ring. However, at this moment, it became calmer and more ordinary. It was impossible for anyone to imagine that it was a rare treasure. Su Yun quietly stared at the sprite's shadow. He did not know why, but the demonic nature in his heart weakened by 30%. But more stubbornness and determination rose up. He lost his rationality and regained some clarity. His blood-red eyes started to show some of his true colors. You're really not afraid of death. You already have such a terrifying mystical technique, and you still want to activate the sprite's shadow. You're so weak, aren't you afraid that your body will explode and die? The lady in green was shocked. She never thought that this person would not care about his life. The sprite's shadow gave birth to a lotus. The sky darkened. Indistinctly, a huge lotus imprint could be seen in the blue dome of heaven. Voila! The sprite's shadow suddenly disappeared. Then, a black lotus imprint could be seen on the back of the hand that was wearing the sprite's shadow. Forget it, rascal, since you've decided to do it, then give it your all. I believe you're not someone who will fall so easily. The Sword Elder exhaled and said. Su Yun nodded. His gaze was still fixed on the lady in green. Although the sprite's shadow was activated, there was not much change in its qi. This made people unable to guess its power. Sprite's shadow. Then let me see how powerful it is. If it is just a piece of trash, then I don't want it. After she finished, the lady in green waved her scarf, which turned into a huge rock and flew towards Su Yun. Buzz! The lotus flower seal on the back of Su Yun's hand suddenly flashed with a black light. Following that, the gigantic lotus flower seal in the sky suddenly released a black pattern. Like a sound wave, it smashed into the mountains. In a split second, Su Yun felt that a layer of profound spirit qi had been sucked out of his body. His body immediately became extremely weak, but in the blink of an eye, All of the spirit essences and earth spirit essences in his body crazily spewed out profound spirit chi, filling up his withered body and restoring his spirit. What was going on? Could it be, this was the power of the sprite's shadow? Su Yun was suspicious, but he did not think much about it. He looked at the lotus flower seal on the back of his hand, and waves of marvelous mystical techniques flashed past his mind. All these mystical techniques were like an animation in his mind. There were actually as many as 9 by 9, and there were actually 81 types of mystical techniques, and every technique was vast and powerful. He took a deep breath, stepped on Thousand Deep Sword, and stared intently at the lady in green. With one hand holding the death sword, the other hand with the lotus flower seal suddenly raised, and faced the lady in green. Voila! All the profound spirit chi in his body was sucked out again, and all his chi channels were dried up. Even the profound spirit chi supporting the 100-demon extermination god array was sucked out, and the demonic array was weakened. After that, all the energy passed through the lotus flower seal and flew out. A pitch-black lotus was shot out, and flew towards the lady in green. Absolute Shadow Lotus. Among the 81 mystical techniques of the sprite's shadow, it was the most lethal existence. The lotus rippled, and the petals in the air automatically withered, and then flew in 5 different directions. Such a dense destructive chi. This is Absolute Shadow Lotus? How is this possible? How did the Sword Lord learn this long-lost destructive mystical technique? This is at least a terrifying mystical technique of the profound rank and above. Is Limitless Sword Lord good or evil? Why is his entire body emitting such a terrifying demonic chi? And he is using a demonic technique? Don't let your guard down. We have to be on guard. The people of Exuding Fire sect who were far away whispered to each other. The lady in green hurriedly waved her ribbon, and the ribbon transformed into a gigantic iron shield, blocking in front of her. The thick and sturdy shield was like a wall that separated the entire Exuding Fire mountain into 2. Then, the tiny black lotus petals attacked. Bang! 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 Every time a lotus flower exploded, a huge black lotus print would appear and spread around like an electric current. The 5 petals instantly spread to the entire surface of the shield. Then, the surface of the shield was broken. The lady in green's attack had been broken. The shield wall returned to its original state. Woo! The lady in green's full and firm chest heaved up and down a little, her face was pale, and she retreated a few steps, her eyes staring at the man in shock. I'm afraid that those who are not at the Spirit Star Realm cannot cross swords with him. Yanggu looked at Limitless Sword Lord seriously, and said indifferently, Spirit Star Realm? The Exuding Fire sect disciples were shocked, and their scalps went numb. This Limitless Sword Lord. How strong was he? Good. Good. Limitless. You're really powerful. The lady in green tilted her head and looked at the Exuding Fire sect disciples. She knew that even if she fought hard and killed Limitless Sword Lord, she would be like an arrow at the end of its flight, and would still be taken advantage of by the Exuding Fire sect. She did not linger any longer, and stared at Limitless Sword Lord for a while, and said, Your body can't take it anymore. You forcefully activated the sprite's shadow and used such a terrifying technique. I'm afraid once the effect is over, you will collapse, and it will last for a period of time, and then killing you will be easy. Limitless Sword Lord. Don't be arrogant, you can't jump around for long. With that, the lady suddenly waved her ribbon, and stepped on it, wanting to escape. Want to leave? It's not that simple. Su Yun's eyes flashed red, and the demonic shadows exploded, covering the sky with 100 shadows. Baleful chi filled the air, and all of them flew out from his body, and grabbed the lady in green. Kai Ling was caught. 100 shadows exerted its strength and forcibly pulled the escaping Kai Ling back. Damn it! You think I can't kill you? The lady in green's ferocious nature was forced out. She waved her 10 fingers and moved randomly. 10 rays of green light shot out from her fingertips and attacked Su Yun. Dong 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 dong. The power of the sprite's shadow was activated again, and a big shield with black lotuses appeared, and blocked all the green light. What? To be able to block such an expert's attack so easily, how scary was the sprite's shadow! But it was not over yet. Heaven shrouding divine lotus seal. Su Yun bellowed and raised his hand. Xiao! A sudden white chi crashed into the blue dome of heaven, and disappeared in a flash. Rumble, something strange happened, and the dusky blue dome of heaven was suddenly struck by lightning. Following that, the thick clouds suddenly split open, and the huge lotus seal in the blue dome of heaven slowly descended from the dark clouds. The people of Exuding Fire sect raised their heads in shock, and looked at the blue dome of heaven, only to see that the huge lotus seal in the clouds was actually the base of a huge mountain. A huge and boundless lotus mountain fell from the sky, and fiercely pressed down on the lady in green. The lotus mountain was vast and boundless, as though it was a piece of land, falling straight down. The entire blue dome of heaven darkened, and the sun and moon were covered. All living things were crawling on the ground, and all living things were shocked, and all living things were afraid. This imposing manner was not something that anyone could resist. The lady in green's face was pale, and her eyes were wide open. Staring at the falling mountain, she muttered, "Treasure, it's really a treasure, it's actually so strong?" Such a shocking attack, even if she could block it, she would be exhausted, and become an arrow at the end of its flight. Not good! Go! Quickly go! Yang Gu's face changed, and anxiously shouted, "Quickly retreat! Quickly leave this place, quickly! Everyone go! Quickly go! It's dangerous here, go!" With the roar, the people of Exuding Fire sect were completely stunned. The imposing manner of this attack seemed to have exceeded the range of ordinary spirit cultivators, and even the level of the mystical technique could not be determined. Horrifying! 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 What exactly was this mystical technique? Even Yang Gu, a peerless expert, was trembling in the depths of his bones. If he were to face this attack, would he be able to block it? Despicable brat! The lady in green regained her senses from the shock. She looked left and right, and saw that the Lotus Mountain was 1,000 miles wide, and there was no way to retreat. It directly pressed downwards. She clenched her teeth, and secretly took out a life-saving treasure, and prepared to use it as her last resort. Bang! 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 The Lotus Mountain fell downwards, releasing a loud roar. The imposing manner had already started to crush the buildings, trees, and boulders. The mountain fell, but the ground had already sunk by a few inches, but at this time, below. The sealed Exuding Fire volcano suddenly spewed out a pillar of fire, straight towards the Lotus Mountain. The moment the pillar of fire hit the bottom of the Lotus Mountain, it transformed into a thick red coiling dragon. With the bottom of the mountain as its base, it spiraled and soared, and forcefully blocked the Lotus Mountain. The fiery red coiling dragon's body trembled, and the dragon's eyes tightened. The dragon continued to roar, as though it was extremely strenuous, but the falling Lotus Mountain finally stopped. "Master Sword Lord, please stop." Just at this time, a deep voice came from below. Su Yun frowned. Seeing that, the lady in green immediately took out a treasure. The silk wrapped around her body, and transformed into a cocoon. She flew away, and in a blink of an eye she disappeared. The target had escaped. Su Yun's heart turned cold, and he bellowed, "Who? I am the Exuding Fire sect leader, True Fire Huan. Master Limitless Sword Lord, please stop. Stop using your mystical technique." With that, a young man with fiery red hair, dressed in a fiery red robe, flew up from below, and landed in front of Su Yun. The man had red brows, red lips, slightly tanned skin, and a cinnabar mark on his forehead. He looked handsome, but his expression was not angry. What was even more surprising was that although he looked young, he had a noble temperament that could not be disobeyed. This was the temperament of a superior, a temperament that only a strong martial artist could have. Su Yun frowned, his blood-red iron mask looked at him coldly. Chapter 125. Although the coiling dragon's suppression was strenuous, it forcibly held up the entire Lotus Mountain. The scene of the giant dragon dragging the mountain appeared in everyone's sight. Seeing this, Su Yun stopped the transmission of profound spirit qi and removed the mystical technique. Swoosh, the Lotus Mountain disappeared. Not long after the mountain disappeared, the huge fiery coiling dragon that rushed out from the volcano also disappeared abruptly, turning into air and vanishing into thin air. Everything was like a flower in the mirror, the moon in the water. Greetings, sect leader. The disciples of the exuding fire sect flew over from afar, and greeted the handsome young man in the fire robe respectfully. Zhen Huan nodded his head, his gaze shifted and landed on Su Yun, then cupped his fists and bowed. Limitless Sword God, I have long heard of your great name. Nice to meet you. Why did you stop me from using my profound skill? Su Yun asked softly. Zhen Huan laughed bitterly. Revered sir, this is exuding fire sect, and is the foundation of Huan. Revered sir has a great divine power. If you were to strike down like this, although you can keep that woman here, but I'm afraid my exuding fire sect will be buried along with her. What he said was true. If that attack had landed, not only exuding fire sect, even the surrounding towns and cities would have been buried under the Lotus Mountain. Hearing that, Su Yun wanted to say something, but his face suddenly changed, and a trace of sadness flashed past his eyes. He quickly thought for a moment, then took a deep breath and said in a low voice, Even so, that woman is my greatest enemy. By doing this, you are helping her escape and making me your enemy. Your exuding fire sect is declaring war with me? No, I have no such intentions. Huan is only trying to protect my exuding fire sect. Since that's the case, if I meet this person again in the future, I hope that your esteemed sect can assist me in killing him. Of course, the aura on her body is so strange. It must be that group of fellows. If it was that group of fellows, the people of the Sky Martial Continent would definitely kill them. Zhen Huan said. Do you know who she is? Su Yun asked. It's just a guess. True Fire Illusion Dao. Su Yun bit his lower lip and wanted to say something, but he felt that the exhaustion in his body was difficult to be filled. He took a deep breath and said indifferently, Since it's like this, then it's like this. I still have things to do, so I won't stay for long. Farewell. With that, Su Yun stepped onto the thousand-deep sword and quickly flew out of exuding fire sect. Chirp! The sharp sword flew like a shuttle, like a rainbow piercing through the sun. Hurong and the rest heaved a sigh of relief when they saw the man leave. The venerable sect leader is truly powerful. If that strike had landed just like that, who knows how many living beings would have died? Didn't the Limitless Sword God consider these living beings? The elders were chatting with each other. Yang Gu's gaze became serious. He looked at the direction Su Yun left in and asked, Lord, he is only relying on treasures to raise his cultivation, and it has already dried up. He does not have much fighting strength left. Why are you still so courteous to him? Why did you not make him stay? Although he used a magic treasure to raise his cultivation, he's not simple either. You've only seen the surface. I might not be able to keep it. Zhen Huan shook his head. What's more, if we were to touch him, it would be the same as going against all the major powers, sects and academies of the mystical mountain range. We would bear the brunt of it. The Mu clan and the Purple Star Academy would not let us go, so we cannot touch him. For him to appear here, I'm afraid that he has some secret. Even if we don't capture him, we should at least make him stay and cooperate with us to investigate this matter. Yang Gu was rather dissatisfied. He won't cooperate with us. Why? Zhenhua Huan smiled, but did not reply. Hua! A circle of turbulent, high-spirited qi dissipated in the palace. A little girl dressed in a red Blademaster skirt, with 2 snow-white big fox ears, blankly stared at her own hands. Her snow-white furry big tail drooped on the ground, her chest bulging high, with a clear contrast with her young and charming face. She was adorable yet seductive, and in between her 10 fingers, a large amount of demonic qi and blood qi could be faintly seen revolving, an unexplainable and astonishing baleful qi surging. So many terrifying and peerless qi appeared. How could this be? The girl's pink lips trembled, her watery peach blossom eyes were filled with surprise. Suddenly she thought of something. Could it be that guy? But that guy is obviously so weak. His qi is so astonishing, even I cannot contend against him. How could he have such qi? Is he borrowing the heavenly crystal? Impossible. How could the heavenly crystal be so demonic? What's more, such an astonishing qi, forcefully added to his body, I'm afraid he would not be able to withstand it. That bastard, don't die. Before I find that thing, before I remove this link, he cannot die, but wait till everything is removed. I will pull out your tendons and pull out your bones. The little girl clenched her fist, her eyes filled with hatred, her white teeth clenched together, as though she had thought of something unforgivable. Her face became pale. Damn it! Plop! A muffled sound came out. Following that, there was the sound of intense breathing. Su Yun held onto the 1,000-deep sword and the death sword, walking with difficulty outside the flowing fire volcano. At this moment, he felt as though his entire body was withering. With every step he took, his entire body would twitch. It was extremely painful, especially his qi meridians and spirit essences. His own senses towards them were extremely weak. Have my spirit essences and qi meridians dried up? Su Yun found the spirit stallion that he had tied outside the mountain, climbed up with difficulty, and spoke softly. It's not just dried up. Sword Elder's voice came out. You rascal, you are really daring. The sprite's shadow is not a good thing. Once it is activated, it will not stop until you die. It will not hold back. Not holding back? Yes. Not holding back. Sword Elder said. Do you remember when you activated the heavenly crystal? The heavenly crystal and the sprite's shadow are divine objects. Why did you use the sprite's shadow to easily defend against the green-robed lady's attack, and even forced the sect leader of the flowing fire volcano to come out, causing him to be afraid of you? But when you activated the heavenly crystal, you could not even defeat the elder of the immortal sword sect? The reason is simple. These 2 objects have spirituality. The heavenly crystal can feel that your power is weak. It knows that once it explodes, your body will not be able to withstand it. It will definitely explode and die, so it did not let you use too much power. This is also why I said that you did not use the full power of the heavenly crystal. But the sprite's shadow is different. It will not consider whether your body can withstand it or not. If you use it, it will not hold back. Fight with all your strength, release all your power. Luckily you used the 100 Demon Extermination God Array to strengthen your body, and have the Everlasting Stone to protect your soul. If not, even if you did not explode and die, I'm afraid you would lose your mind and go crazy. So, next time, when you use this object, think twice, at least when your cultivation is high and your body is strengthened. Hearing that, Su Yun's entire body shivered. He did not think that he would go overboard this time. At this time, he felt a warm current flowing out from the Limitless sword manual in his chest, moisturizing his dried-up body. Your spirit essences and qi channels are not as simple as being dried up, they are almost eroding, especially your spirit essences. Almost every time, the sprite's shadow forcefully draws out the profound spirit qi, causing your spirit essences to be unable to bear the burden and almost collapse. If you were to activate another mystical technique, I am sure that all the spirit essences in your body will be destroyed, and you will have to cultivate new spirit essences again. Next time, Don't be so impulsive, this old man can't help you every time," the Sword Elder reprimanded. Su Yun laughed and said shamefully, "Thank you, Senior, but once the 100 Demon Extermination God Array is activated, it will not stop until I die. At that time, my mind will be shared with the 100 demons. It is hard to control." "How do you know such a vicious demonic array?" the Sword Elder exclaimed again. Su Yun was silent. After a moment, he said softly, "Senior, do you want to know? If you are willing to say. The reason is actually very simple." Su Yun's eyes flashed a trace of darkness. "I have been possessed by a demon before." With that said, there was no more sound. The spirit stallion dragged the man who was covered in blood on the rugged road, and the crisp sound of hooves sounded rhythmically. "I never thought." The Sword Elder laughed bitterly. "I actually found a demon to be the sect leader for the Limitless Sword sect. I don't know if the old ancestor will kill me if he finds out." Su Yun tilted his face, and the setting sun shone on the broken but cold iron surface, glistening brightly. "Demon? Should I be despised by others?" He opened his pale lips and asked. The Sword Elder was startled, but did not know how to answer. Su Yun's mouth curled into a bitter smile. "Maybe you guys are right." When he returned to the Su family, Su Yun's complexion had more or less recovered. The Sword Elder had swallowed the spirit body, and his own spirit power had increased greatly. After nourishing Su Yun for half a day, the weathered spirit essence and qi channels had recovered. Su Yun ate the pills and recuperated on the spirit stallion's back, and he finally slowed down. He raised his hand, looked at the closed black ring on his finger, touched it, and exhaled. "The sprite's shadow seems to be different from the heavenly crystal. If you want to activate it, you can do it anytime and anywhere. It is not like the heavenly crystal, which requires a huge amount of energy to fill." Su Yun laughed to himself. "But you must be able to withstand the sprite's shadow's endless spirit power extraction," the Sword Elder said. Su Yun nodded, took off his mask, changed into his Blade Master clothes, kept the sword sheath and the death sword, and rode the spirit stallion towards the outer sect. After entering the outer sect of the Su family, Su Yun directly headed towards his own small house. On the way, the outer sect people kept glancing at him, but no one dared to greet him. Even those who were familiar with Su Yun and knew that his talent had returned and his strength had increased, and wanted to curry favor with him, at this moment, they all avoided him like a plague. It seemed like the matter of him chopping off Su Dong Hao's arm was unacceptable to these people. After all, he was the great clan elder. With just a thought, he could make these people die without a burial ground. Who would dare to provoke him? "Big brother!" Just at this time, two familiar voices came out. Su Yun turned his head, and saw a row of people walking towards him from the street. It was the patrol team. He calmed himself down, and saw Xing Yang and Su Xianyu running towards him. Both of their faces were filled with joy. Seeing this, Su Yun flipped down the spirit stallion and welcomed them. "Big brother, where have you been these days?" Su Xianyu could not wait to ask. Her eyes started to sweep up and down, as if to see if Su Yun was injured anywhere. "I just went out to complete a mission, don't worry too much." Su Yun laughed. He looked at the patrol team, then looked at the order badge on their waist and asked, "Are you guys here to patrol today?" "Yes." Xing Yang nodded and laughed. "I never thought that we would have such a day. It feels like a dream." "Do your best." Su Yun patted his shoulder and said, "The most important thing is to train well. It's not easy to enter the inner sect." "Big brother, don't worry. We won't let you down." Xing Yang and Su Xianyu hurriedly nodded. Su Yun laughed and suddenly asked, "Oh right, I asked the two of you to seek refuge. How is it going? That person, did he agree?" "He agreed." Su Xianyu lowered her voice, moved closer to Su Yun's chin and whispered. "Initially, Prince Fu Su was prepared to reject, but someone beside him told him that we are close to Big Brother, so he agreed." Su Yun did not understand. The two of us are also strange. If Prince Fu Su gave face to Big Brother and let us follow him, then we don't dare. If Prince Fu Su has any ulterior motives and wants to harm Big Brother, then we would rather face the great clan elder's revenge alone," Xing Yang said with a determined face. Hearing this, Su Yun laughed bitterly again and again. But his heart was also strange. If it was really like that, where did he get the face to let Prince Fu Su do this? "Are you Su Yun?" Just as Su Yun was talking with Xing Yang and Xing Yang, a female voice sounded. Su Yun turned his head to look, only to see a woman with a pale face and dry lips standing behind him. The woman's eyes were dim and her face was expressionless. She stood quietly behind him and used an empty voice without any emotion to speak warmly. "Are you the outer sect disciple, Su Yun?" The woman repeated her question. Chapter 126. I am. Who are you? Su Yun frowned and asked. The woman in gray took out a token from her waist, raised her pale and slender hand, and said emotionlessly, "Second Miss's personal maidservant. Second Miss has ordered you to go to her mansion to meet her. She has something to ask you." With that said, 8 inner sect guards walked out from behind the lady and surrounded Su Yun. Xian and Xing Yang anxiously approached Su Yun, brandishing out their weapons. They cautiously looked at both sides. "What are you doing?" Su Xinyue said. "Second Miss has ordered that Su Yun must go to the mansion to see her. If Su Yun does not comply, he will be disobeying the order. According to the Su family's rules, he will be executed on the spot." The gray-clothed woman said expressionlessly. "Family rules? Can your second Miss represent the Su family?" Su Xian was a little angry. Why was the second Miss so overbearing? The gray-clothed woman nodded. "More or less." "You." Su Xinyue was flustered. "Who is your second young miss?" Just then, Su Yun suddenly asked. "Miss Su Yurong," the gray-robed lady said indifferently. Yu Yang and Yu Yang were startled when they heard this. "Young Miss Yurong? Great Elder's daughter?" Their faces were ugly. They naturally knew why Su Yurong sent people to find Su Yun. Why is Miss Yurong looking for Big Brother Su Yun? Xian looked at the gray-robed lady and asked. However, the gray-robed lady did not say much. Her dim eyes quietly looked at Su Yun, as if she was waiting for his reply. Towards other people's voices, it was as if she could not hear them. Su Xian was not angry, but she was worried. The inner sect guards at the back were not to be trifled with. If Su Yun rejected them, they would definitely take action. Although the inner sect guards were not afraid, once the matter was blown out of proportion and reached the main house, the situation would not be good. Su Yun and Yu Yang siblings could not possibly contend against the entire Su family. Furthermore, the Great Elder would probably make use of this as a pretext to settle old and new scores together. Although the Pill King had temporarily helped Su Yun settle the storm, but the grudge between him and the Great Clan Elder had already been formed. If the Great Clan Elder had something on him, even if he did not die, he would still lose a layer of skin. Damn! After weighing it again and again, Su Yun suddenly spoke. "Big Brother!" The two of them shouted anxiously. Xian grabbed onto Su Yun's hand tightly, afraid that he would leave. "I can't go." Su Xian's tan skin looked at Su Yun seriously. Tears could be seen at the corner of her eyes, but her pupils were filled with determination. All of this was because of Xian and Xing Yang, and had nothing to do with Su Yun, but he still took it on without hesitation. In their hearts, Su Yun was not just a simple benefactor. He was their everything, especially in Su Xian's heart. This man always appeared when she was in danger and gave her hope. In her heart, he had long become an indispensable part of her. If she could choose, she would rather go alone than let Su Yun go. However, Su Yun stretched out his hand and removed the tender and small hand from his palm, revealing a warm smile on his face. "Wait for me." These two simple words, coupled with that gentle smile, caused Su Xian to become sluggish. She did not know why, but she could not even think of disobeying his words. Not waiting for Su Xianyu and Su Xingyang to react, Su Yun rushed to the gray-robed lady and said, "Let's go!" The gray-robed lady nodded and turned to lead the way. All of them were riding on spirit stallions, even the lady in gray was the same. Su Yurong lived alone in the inner sect. The great clan elder had arranged a huge courtyard for her. No one knew how high Su Yurong's cultivation was. After she moved into the courtyard, she lived in seclusion. Only when the matter of her liking the ladies was exposed did she gradually reveal herself. Some people said that Su Yurong's cultivation was enough to enter the main house. Of course, some people's words needed to be considered. Cough cough. Cough 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 cough. At this time, a burst of dry coughing sound came from the side. Su Yun looked over, only to see the gray-robed lady riding a spirit stallion was getting more and more pale. She covered her mouth and coughed continuously. Her face was full of pain. Su Yun looked away and lowered his head to think. After an hour, everyone arrived at the inner sect. Compared to the liveliness of the outer sect, the inner sect was more solemn and serious. On the clean streets there were very few pedestrians. Those who were able to enter the inner sect were mostly raised by the family. They did not need to open a shop or work to earn money. They did not even need to worry about pills. The disciples of the inner sect only needed to cultivate and cultivate non-stop. Because of this, the inner sect was known as the backbone of the Su family. Here, they were nurturing true cultivators. The gray-robed lady who was coughing constantly brought Su Yun to a huge mansion on the right side of the inner sect. The guards of the inner sect stood in a row in front of the mansion as a precaution. They did not seem to have any intention of entering. "Follow me," the gray-robed lady said as she stepped into the mansion. Su Yun's heart was filled with doubt. He secretly kept an eye out and stepped in. After entering the mansion, it was very quiet. The courtyard had a rock garden, a small pond, and a curved bridge. It was very unique, but he did not know why, but Su Yun always felt that it was very cold here. The gray-robed lady led Su Yun to an embroidered pavilion and stopped. "Reporting to Miss, Su Yun is here." The gray-robed lady bowed to the door of the embroidered pavilion and said respectfully, "Bring him in." A lazy voice came out. The gray-robed lady responded, walked forward, and pushed the door open. As soon as the door opened, a gust of cold wind blew out. Su Yun's gaze was solemn. He carefully stepped in, only to see that in the embroidery pavilion, there was a bed placed in the center. A woman wearing a thin gauze dress was lying on the bed, lazily looking at Su Yun. The woman was not beautiful. She was a little fat. Her hair was short. Her facial features were decent, but her skin was strangely dark, her eyes were dim, like a person who had not woken up. But what was more surprising was her aura. It was very cold. Her whole body was like ice, but he could not see her cultivation level. Su Yun secretly raised his guard. He had just returned from the flowing fire volcano. After the battle, his aura was still very weak. He was not suitable for battle. If the situation was not good, he would have to escape. "You are Su Yun?" Su Yurong said indifferently. She waved her hand at the gray-robed lady. The gray-robed lady's pale face actually revealed a tinge of red. Without hesitation, she walked over and sat beside Su Yurong. Su Yurong did not hesitate to hug the lady in her arms. Her hands were roaming all over the lady's body. She even boldly placed her hands on her chest. Private parts. Su Yun frowned and said, "Yes." "Woo." The gray-robed lady let out a suppressed moan. Her whole body trembled slightly, as though she was enjoying it. And Su Yurong seemed to feel it too. Her breathing was slightly hurried. Her pair of dim eyes lit up. She took a deep breath and said, "How do you plan to solve this matter?" "Matter? What matter?" "The matter of cutting off my brother's arm." Su Yurong increased her strength. The gray-robed lady's body trembled even more violently. It was as though she had reached her peak. Finally, she let out a resounding moan. Then, her entire body went limp. Su Yu-rong casually pushed her onto the bed. Her eyes revealed a tinge of arrogance. If you want to stay in the Su family, you have to give me an explanation. This is a kind reminder. I hope you can listen to it. You want to kill me? Su Yun asked bluntly. I won't. Su Yu-rong said indifferently. But if I want, many people are willing to help me kill you. That's what I mean. Su Yun laughed. But I am unable to give you an explanation. Healing an arm is not difficult. The spirit doctor will take responsibility. I can't do much. You can do a lot. Su Yu-rong snorted. I heard that Su Xianyu's relationship with you is not bad. She listens to you obediently. If you can introduce Su Xianyu to me, maybe, I can persuade my brother or my father to not find trouble with you. You have to know that they are not magnanimous people. The things that you have done to my brother, they will not let it go just because of a word from the Pill King. It was a blatant threat. I know. Su Yun said, but I hope you can give up. I will never do that. Saying that, he looked at the gray-robed lady and said, in the past, I didn't believe it. But now I believe it. Plucking een to nourish een is a real thing. Why would I push Xianyu into a pit of fire? Since it's like that, then you better pray for your own good. Su Yu-rong said indifferently. She did not have any intention to force him. Su Yun looked around. His eyes congealed. You want to make a move? Make a move? Ha ha, Su Yu-rong laughed out loud. If you die here, I won't be able to explain myself. How can I be so stupid to kill someone in my own territory? What's more, I don't want you to die so easily. Su Yu-rong smiled evilly. Her eyes were filled with cruelty. Su Yun did not say anything. He knew that the negotiation had failed. He immediately turned and was about to leave. Sigh, but come to think of it, since you're not willing to give Su Xianyu to me, then Qing Heir should be fine, right? She's just a servant of yours. Although she has some power now, she seems to listen to you. Why don't you give Su Qing Heir to me? This matter can be written off. Su Yu-rong's voice came out. But in the next second, Su Yun suddenly turned his head. He stared at her and said coldly, What did you say? Su Yu-rong looked at his focused face. Her smile became wider. I said, it's the same if you give me Su Qing Heir. Is that so? Su Yun's angry expression suddenly disappeared. His mouth curved slightly. A trace of arrogance was revealed. Are you sure? He asked uncertainly. What? You agree? Su Yu-rong was startled. Sure. Let me consider for a few days. Hee. If you know what's good for you, I can give you a few days. I hope you don't disappoint me. Su Yu-rong sneered. Su Yun smiled and waved his hand. He turned and left. I will find you again. Chapter 127. Returning to the outer sect of the Su family, Su Yun's heart was in a cold and gloomy state. He kept thinking about Su Yu-rong's words, and it was hard for him to recover. He couldn't help but tighten his grip on the reins, and the killing intent in his eyes gradually revealed itself. In the past, he did not kill whenever he moved, but after Qing Er died, he lost everything and entered the demonic Tao, and his temperament started to change. In order to prevent himself from regretting and the people around him from suffering, he had to kill those who needed to be killed. Seems like we still have to make a move, but Su Yu-rong's strength is not bad. Although she is in the inner sect, it will not be easy to eliminate her. We have to think of a way to lure her out. Su Yun lowered his head and thought. She was not like Su Mo Sha from before. Su Mo Sha was heavily injured and was in the medical hall. He did not have any defensive strength, so killing him was very easy. Seduce, how to seduce? What is she interested in? Could it be by relying on women? Su Yun's heart trembled. Look, the list of participants for the Great Ensemble has been posted. Great Ensemble? The meeting of heroes? The duel festival that is held once every 3 years in all the southern regions? Tisk. What was there to see? In the past, our Sioux family couldn't get a good ranking. But this time? I think it's the same. Now that you mention it, our Sioux family's contestants seem to be quite strong. Wait, who is this guy? Soo-yoon? Our outer sex Soo-yoon? No way. Soo-yoon? He's participating too? He's just an outer sect disciple. Even if his talent recovered and his cultivation level increased, he would at most be a spirit intermediate disciple. This meeting of heroes requires at least a spirit core disciple to participate. Even in the inner sect, other than those top elites, no one else is qualified. Why? Why did the family send Soo-yoon? You probably think he's powerful. Get lost. Amazing? Anyone from the main house would be able to squash him to death. I think the odds are against our Sioux family in this heroes gathering. I hope I don't get the last place. Otherwise, I won't be able to face anyone when I go out. It's hard to say. In front of the outer sect's public notice board, there were many outer sect disciples, young and old. Each and every one of them looked at the notice board and discussed animatedly. My name? When Soo-yoon heard their discussion, he immediately got off his spirit stallion and walked over. Hey look, who's here? It's Soo-yoon. Hurry up and get out of the way, get out of the way. If the great elders men see us and think that we're related to him, we're done for. Go, go, go. The crowd hurriedly moved away, retreating as if they had encountered a plague. Soo-yoon glanced at the crowd, but did not say a word, nor did he care. He walked over and glanced at the notice on the notice board. This was the list of participants for the meeting of heroes. Ching-er? Soo-yoon? His face was filled with astonishment. Ching-er was nurtured by the Sioux family as a seedling, so she would not normally participate in such a public competition. He was just a spirit intermediate disciple trash, so why would the Sioux family send him to participate in such a grand event? This was related to the Sioux family's reputation. Aren't they afraid of losing face? Just as Soo-yoon was thinking, a voice came out. You are Soo-yoon, right? We've been looking for you for a long time. Hearing this, Soo-yoon turned his head to look and saw a few people from the inner sect wearing armor and jade badges walking over. Who are you? Soo-yoon asked. The inner sect's inner sect. The leader casually said, then took out a few things from his storage ring and handed it over. Congratulations, you have been chosen to represent our Sioux family to participate in the meeting of heroes. This is the Sioux family's entry badge for this competition, as well as the competition's attire and notes. When you depart, someone will inform you where to gather. I hope you will not disappoint the Sioux family's nurturing and high hopes for you. Perform well in the meeting of heroes and strive to obtain a good ranking. That's all. With that, the few people from the inner sect yawned and lazily walked away. Soo-yoon looked at the things in his hands, his eyes flashing. He placed the things in his storage ring, turned around and quickly left. In the middle of the gloomy mountain range, in front of a dilapidated temple, stood rows of pitch-black armored warriors. The warriors were overflowing with death chi, their baleful aura congealed. They were draped in armor, but had no flesh. They carried swords, but had no muscles. These people were all horrifying dried-up corpses, like ghosts or demons. The pair of dull and deep pupils flickered with a blood-red light aura. A man dressed in blood-red robes, his long hair falling to the ground, crawling on the ground like a snake, sat in front of the corpse soldiers. He stared at the bone spear in his hands, his pale and skinny face revealing a trace of infatuation. Immortal bone spear? So disgusting, why do you know how to use such a weapon? A mature female voice came from the side. The man dressed in blood-red robes with long snake-like hair turned his neck and looked at the person. His skinny and pale face revealed an ugly smile. This is my enemy's spine. I killed him and used his bones to refine a weapon. How about it? Isn't it beautiful? Ga. The lady did not speak. Her gaze did not land on the weapon. Instead, she stared at the man and said indifferently, There might be a small problem on my side. My actions will have to be delayed for now. Did the sprite's shadow not succeed? The man with snake-like hair, the blood noble, chuckled and asked. His gaze returned to the bone spear. I will succeed very soon. It doesn't matter. The blood noble smiled lazily. Anyway, you guys have never satisfied me before. You can terminate your collaboration with us. The lady did not seem to be afraid. Her voice was calm. But, with your own strength, can you achieve all of this? Heh, don't tell me I have to rely on you guys? The blood noble did not care. He was not afraid of the lady's threat. The lady lowered her head and pondered. After a long while, she said, Give me some time. I will contact you again. With that, she turned and left. Wait. Just then, the blood noble suddenly spoke. The lady stopped in her tracks. Who snatched the sprite's shadow? He squinted his eyes and asked. It's just an ant. Oh? Then please, my respected princess, hurry up and squash this little ant to death. I'm already impatient. The long snake-like blood noble stuck out his long red tongue and licked the immortal bone spear. His expression was sinister as he laughed. Just wait. There was not even an existence in the 7th stage of the spirit intermediate disciple realm. He was actually arranged to participate in the triennial meeting of heroes to fight with a group of spirit core disciple realm experts. This was simply seeking his own humiliation. He was seeking his own death. Su Yun did not think that the Su family was overestimating him. Thinking about it, it was most likely related to the great clan elder. It did not matter. Since the Su family had decided to let him participate, he would participate. If he could not win, he could just surrender. Did the Su family have a rule that he had to win? Su Yun thought and returned to the wooden hut. Senior, are you here? Back in the hut, Su Yun took out the Limitless sword manual and called for the sword elder. What's wrong? The sword elder did not seem to be cultivating. Hearing Su Yun's shouts, he immediately came out. The last time I practiced the Fallen Leaves sword technique in Snow Tang City, I am already familiar with it. Can you teach me a set of powerful sword technique from the Limitless sword sect? You want to learn? The sword elder laughed. Have you learned the other sword techniques on the market? There are so many sword techniques in the world. If I were to learn, I am afraid I will never be able to master them in my life. You are right. Seems like you can't wait. Forget it. I will teach you. As for how much you can learn, it depends on you. Thank you, senior. Su Yun was overjoyed. But this sword technique is not easy to master. Don't be happy too early. When I teach you, you cannot give up on the cultivation of the Limitless sword manual. At the same time, you have to constantly increase your cultivation level. With this sword technique, it would be best if you could link all three together. Link. Su Yun heard and was stunned. He understood what the sword elder meant. The Limitless sword manual's imperial sword technique could be used together with sword techniques. Maybe if he were to learn this sword technique from the Limitless sword sect, it would not be the same as usual. Kid, let's find an empty space. I will teach you. Yes. Su Yun did not dare to delay. He quickly ran to the back of the mountain. This sword technique is called the Hurricane Sword Technique. As the name suggests, it is a sword technique that is as fierce as a hurricane. Before you use it, you must first be one with your mind. Place your emotions on the sword. Replace yourself with the sword in your hand. You are the sword and the sword is you. Next, imagine a trajectory. Use your profound spirit chi as the trajectory and release it. This is extremely important. The faster you can do this, the faster the stormy wind sword technique will be executed. The hurricane is formless and powerful. Don't let your opponent catch your sword. This way you can be invincible and unstoppable. The bridge between the profound spirit chi and the sword cannot be broken. You must have sufficient profound spirit chi as the foundation, the sword elder patiently explained. Su Yun used his sword, listened, and asked questions. After a few hours, the wind from the sword rippled through the back of the mountain. During the day, he would practice his sword technique. At night, he would be in the hut making pills to increase his cultivation level. He wanted to break through to the 7th stage of the spirit intermediate disciple realm. After a few days, his chi channels and spirit essence started to move again. Under the nourishment of the everlasting stone, his profound spirit chi rose again. A dim rainbow pierced through the wooden ceiling and rushed into the sky. Su Yun had finally entered the 7th stage of the spirit intermediate disciple realm. Although the 7th stage of the Su family was an invincible existence in the outer sect and was considered a peak expert in the inner sect, in the meeting of heroes, he was still a weak existence. He was not worried about himself. He just did not understand why the Su family sent Qing heir to participate. Could it be that it was to temper her? In the pitch-black night it was extremely quiet. Gotcha. At this time, a slight sound rippled through the air. Su Yun raised his head and looked towards the door. At this time, the door automatically opened and a gust of cold wind blew in. He frowned. Looking at the swaying figure outside the door, he said, "Since you're here, come in." Chapter 128. Bada. Heavy footsteps sounded on the wooden floor of the house, and a skinny figure appeared in front of the house. This was a woman who did not have much life in her. Her entire body was cold. Her gaze was unusually dim. She looked lifelessly at Su Yun. Under the night sky, she looked like a ghost. Su Yun frowned. If not for the fact that she seemed to have some consciousness and looked like a human, he would have pulled out his sword and stabbed her. "Su Yu Rong's people?" he asked. The lady nodded her head. Her voice was hoarse. "Young Miss sent me here to ask when to send Su Qing heir or Su Xen Yu over. She's already impatient. I hope you don't lie to her, or else the consequences will be dire." Oh, Su Yun's eyes flashed a trace of sternness. He nodded his head and said, "Then, how much more time can your young miss give me?" Cough cough. "If you can't hand them over tomorrow, young miss will probably choose to give up." The person coughed a few times. Her face was pale as she said slowly, "Then let's set it for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at midnight, let's meet in front of the nameless hill outside the Su family." Su Yun leaned on the side of the bed. After thinking for a while, he said, "I'll be the Moon Elder for once. I'll fulfill your young miss wish." "Midnight?" The lady frowned. "Why do you have to choose midnight, and why do you have to meet outside the Su family? They're thin-skinned. They're afraid of people gossiping. After all, they're two ladies. It's very embarrassing to meet, isn't it? Tell your young miss if she wants to go or not." Su Yun waved his hand. "Remember to close the door when you leave." The lady glanced at him. Without saying anything more, she did not close the door. Instead, she turned and left. After a while, the commotion outside disappeared. It was dead silent again. Su Yun sat quietly in front of the window. After pondering for a long time, he stood up and secretly opened the door. He used the heavenly scale divine eye to look outside. Seeing that the person watching him was not around, he quickly walked out. Since he had decided to solve the problem and get rid of Su Yu Rong, he had to act as soon as possible. However, to meet at midnight, and to meet outside the Su family, it would be suspicious no matter how one thought about it. Su Yu Rong was not like Su Dong Hao. She was much more vigilant than Su Dong Hao. Leading the spirit stallion, he sprinted all the way back to the inner sect. Activating the heavenly scale divine eye, he could already see Su Yu Rong's people in the distance. Su Yun was still at the boundary between the inner sect and the outer sect. He had already seen them enter the courtyard and head towards Su Yu Rong's embroidered pavilion. As he ran, he kept an eye on what was happening in the courtyard. It was useless to just watch. He still had to listen to the final outcome. He wanted to know what Su Yu Rong was planning. Was she going to keep the appointment, Or was she going to directly request Su Yun to send the person over? A moment later, Su Yun arrived at the inner sect. He immediately changed into his Blademaster clothes, put on his mask, borrowed the knight, stepped on the thousand-deep sword and flew into the courtyard, landed at the top of the embroidered pavilion, then laid on the roof, closed his eyes and listened. Her movements were light and graceful, not making a single sound. After a while, a weak voice came from the embroidery pavilion. Su family's periphery? Humph, I'm afraid this brat has some tricks up his sleeves. If he really agreed to let those two girls be with me, how could it be so troublesome? I think he most likely wants to kill me. Su Yurong snorted and said, Miss, how can this person have such guts? He even dared to chop off Su Donghao's arm. What else does he not dare to do? Since this person has the intention to harm Miss, why don't we just kill him? No need. What if what he said is true, that those two girls are really shy and don't dare to meet me in public? Then wouldn't I have missed the opportunity? Su Yun is just an ant, don't worry, I'll go and meet him. I don't think he can do anything to me. A small outer sect disciple, it's enough for him to bully my useless brother who doesn't have any cultivation. He wants to behave atrociously in front of me? He's still overestimating himself. What if he sets a trap? You and the others will just follow me. Yes, miss. Wait till I get those two talented girls, see how I teach them. Miss, you can't forget us. Haha, don't worry, when the time comes we'll all sleep together, and you'll all serve me. Ha ha. Su Yurong laughed out loud. This servant will definitely serve Miss well. But miss, if those two sisters come, what should we do with Su Yun? To dare to be impudent in front of me, Su Yurong, he has guts. Chopping off my brother's arm, he's basically not putting me in his eyes. Wait till I get those two girls, you guys can catch him. I'm still lacking one sacrifice. I can use him as a replacement. Yes, Mississippi, the weak voice kept on ringing. Sacrifice? It seemed like Su Yurong was cultivating some kind of demonic technique. Why would there be a sacrifice for immortal Dao techniques? Demonic Dao mystical techniques often use such things, but very few demonic Dao mystical techniques would use a human as a sacrifice. These mystical techniques were usually very vicious, and even the demonic Dao people rarely learned them. How did Su Yurong obtain such a technique? Su Yun did not understand. Just then, a burst of suppressed moaning came out from the embroidered pavilion. It was extremely alluring. Su Yun wanted to leave, but he suddenly thought of something. From the conversation just now, when Su Yurong met tomorrow night, she would definitely be on guard. If he was alone, it would be hard for him to have a chance. Maybe he could make his move now. His eyes flashed, revealing an ominous glint. His hand touched the sword sheath on his back. Thousand-deep sword was once again gently pulled out. With a light tap, he dropped down from the roof and quietly floated to the front of the embroidered pavilion. Without a sound, he stood behind the fake mountain. In front of him was the embroidered pavilion. Through the cracks of the paper bed, he could see a few white bodies intertwining together. The women were all touching their soft parts together. They kept on grinding. Their mouths were wide open and they were moaning loudly. Su Yun gathered his profound spirit chi in his right eye. In a moment, his right eye was filled with white light. His entire pupil was shining white. It was very mystical. Second stage spirit core disciple? Su Yun gripped his sword tightly and stood there quietly. Because of the heavenly scale divine eye's left eye, his entire body's chi could be concealed quietly. With Su Yurong's current cultivation, it was impossible for her to sense his chi. Even the guards on guard could not catch his track. Borrowing the night sky, Su Yun, who was dressed in black Blademaster clothes, blended in perfectly. It was extremely difficult to detect him. Finally, Su Yurong, who was surrounded by a few fragrant bodies, suddenly grabbed onto the handkerchief on the bed. Her entire face was flushed red. Her body started to tremble violently. She opened her mouth wide and let out a series of high-pitched screams. Ah! Su Yurong was trembling as she screamed. Her voice was abnormally ecstatic. But at this moment, the person who was hiding in the dark moved. He quickly rushed over. Like a sudden gust of wind, he rushed over with an unstoppable force. With one hand holding the death sword, he threw it forward. With the other hand holding the thousand-deep sword, he rushed towards the embroidered pavilion. Waves of pure divine spirit chi burst forth. Like a sword being unsheathed, cold light flowed everywhere. Sword chi wreaked havoc. Swoosh! The death sword and the sword sheath flew over like a black shooting star. And behind the death sword, a vast killing intent followed. Swoosh! The death sword pierced through the paper window, and pierced towards the person on the bed, who was at the peak of happiness. And then, Quang Dang! The person wearing the iron mask and Blade Master clothes used his profound spirit chi to smash the wall and directly rushed over. There was a sudden change. Su Yurong immediately woke up from her happiness. Staring at the flying sword, without saying a word, she grabbed a body from the side and used it to block in front of her. Poochie! The lady did not have time to react. Her chest was pierced by the death sword. The death sword was obstructed and its speed decreased. Su Yurong anxiously dodged. Su Yun's face turned cold. Compared to the demons, this lady's heart was even darker. The thousand-deep sword rushed forward and followed closely behind Su Yurong. It did not give her any chance to catch her breath. Su Yurong's naked body suddenly flashed with a circle of black lines. The black lines were like poisonous snakes that undulated on her body. Then, it quickly disappeared. Poochie! Su Yun's sharp sword pierced through. The thousand-deep sword pierced through her heart. But the sword tip pierced through her body. Not a single drop of blood flowed out. Instead, a large amount of black smoke leaked out. Evil chi! Su Yun was suspicious. Su Yurong's body suddenly turned into black smoke and dispersed. Then, it quickly gathered a few meters away and once again formed back into her original appearance. Although she was naked, she did not have any shyness. Instead, she stared at Su Yun and sneered. "You dare to barge into my territory? Interesting. Tell me your name. Who sent you to kill me?" "I kill people. Do I need a reason?" Su Yun caressed his cold iron face and said in a low voice. Su Yurong squinted her eyes and stared at this person. Looking at his attire, she suddenly thought of who he was. "You are Limitless Sword God?" Su Yurong asked uncertainly. Previously, she thought this person was Su Yun. But thinking about it, how could Su Yun have such guts? An outer sect disciple dared to come to the inner sect to kill people? But that person did not speak anymore. He rushed forward again and slashed his sword towards Su Yurong. "Heh, you are looking down on me," Su Yurong sneered. Just then, all the servants that were serving Su Yurong all rushed forward and started to attack. But their essence chi had been taken away by Su Yurong. They were weak and could not pose much of a threat to Su Yun. The death sword flew over. With Su Yun as the center, it started to spin rapidly. The flying sword caused the sharp pure divine spirit chi to dance like a fan. Su Yun's entire body seemed to be surrounded by knives. The servants did not dare to go near him. Humph! Seeing this, Su Yurong did not dare to be careless. She raised her hand and a pitch-black leather whip appeared from her ring. Like a poisonous snake, it pounced towards Su Yun. Su Yun's sword tip spun and wanted to cut it. But this whip was actually wrapped in layers of frigid aqua spirit chi. Pure divine spirit chi was actually unable to cut it. Frigid aqua spirit chi? Why did I feel the baleful chi earlier? Su Yun clenched his teeth and suddenly let go of the thousand-deep sword. He extended his hand and grabbed the death sword that was revolving around him. With a turn of his body, the long sword sheath was wrapped with pure divine spirit chi and pierced forward. Su Yurong was secretly shocked. She anxiously swung the whip and continued to wrap it around the death sword. But just as she was controlling the whip and focusing all her attention on the death sword, the Thousand Deep Sword suddenly flashed a sharp aura. It exploded with energy and like a mountain, it pressed towards Su Yurong. Su Yurong was shocked. Her eyes widened. Is this sword technique? Chapter 129. In the moment of imminent peril, Su Yurong's mental state was stretched to its limit. She anxiously let go of the whip, her right hand quickly reaching into her storage ring, wanting to take out a treasure to defend. A round jade-colored mirror appeared in his palm, and he hurriedly pushed it towards Thousand Deep Sword. Dong! Thousand Deep Sword ruthlessly smashed onto the jade mirror. A force that weighed a few thousand kilograms fell with a loud rumble. Su Yurong's frigid aqua spirit chi was like a collapsing mountain, collapsing in an instant. Both her and the mirror were sent flying, falling in a perfectly straight line, crashing onto the fake mountain outside. It was unknown if she was dead or alive. Although Su Yun was only a 7th stage spirit intermediate disciple, he had consumed the crescent moon fruit, swallowed the 5 consummate pills, had a large number of earth spirit essences, and had the support of the everlasting stone. His entire body was filled with pure divine spirit chi. Adding the power of the Thousand Deep Sword, this attack had caught Su Yurong unprepared. But it had to be said that Su Yun's choice of time to attack was extremely appropriate. Su Yurong was currently naked. Other than the storage ring on her finger, she did not bring any treasures with her. She was not prepared properly, and her fighting strength was greatly reduced. She could not unleash her full strength, and even her ability to defend was much weaker. Su Yurong was sent flying. Su Yun made a prompt decision and threw out the Death Sword and Thousand Deep Sword. His fingers formed a seal and released pure divine spirit chi, controlling the 2 swords to attack Su Yurong. Chirp chirp. The 2 swords let out a piercing sound, like a ferocious tiger sprinting over. Su Yurong opened her eyes wide, and anxiously took out treasures from her storage ring, preparing to block. As the daughter of the Great Elder, how could she be lacking in life-saving treasures in the past? But at this time, a ray of gray light suddenly shot over. Following that, Su Yurong's naked body suddenly extended out a thick layer of rock. They were like skin, growing out in an instant and quickly congealing together. Su Yurong's movements were immediately restricted. She anxiously used her chi to break the layers of rocks, but at this time, the Thousand Deep Sword and the Death Sword flew over. Damn it! Su Yurong clenched her teeth, growled, and suddenly turned her body. Poochie! The 2 swords stabbed into her back, but they did not hit her vitals. Blood gushed out and dyed the ground red. The stronger the opponent was, the weaker the effect of the giant rock spirit nucleus. If it was an existence of the same level, Su Yun could easily use the giant rock spirit nucleus to petrify the opponent. But Su Yurong's cultivation was not ordinary. She actually broke free from the petrified state. What was even more surprising was that she was so ruthless. She decisively avoided the vital parts and took the 2 hit. Su Yun's face turned cold. He moved his fingers and waved his arms, controlling the 2 swords to return and attack Su Yurong again. Stop! Right at this moment, a stern shout resounded. Then, a few figures rushed over. Reinforcements? I don't care. Let's take advantage of the situation and kill him first. Su Yun's eyes were filled with determination. His pure divine spirit chi became even more ferocious. He did not have any intention of stopping. Just then, a large number of attacks flew over, cutting straight towards the Death Sword and Thousand Deep Sword. Among them, the most ferocious were the 2 purple light beams. They were not strong, but they were agile and swift. They were faster than the other attacks, and directly struck the Death Sword and Thousand Deep Sword. Although they were unable to stop the 2 swords, the light beams had an effect. Just as the 2 swords were about to hit Su Yurong, they slightly changed the direction of the swords. The 2 swords flew past Su Yurong's shoulders. Su Yurong was once again slashed to the ground. But this time, it did not hit her vitals. The two swords stabbed into the ground behind her, causing the ground to crack. Two black holes appeared, and the turbulent pure divine spirit chi swept out in all directions like blades. Su-yun frowned. He looked towards the source of the attacks. He saw 5 to 6 experts rushing over, and the one leading them was Su Dong-fang. "Little sister, don't be anxious. Big brother is here to save you," Su Dong-fang bellowed. Then, he rushed over with the 5 people beside him, pressing towards Su-yun. He could not succeed. If he continued to kill, he was afraid that even if he killed Su-yu-rong, he would not be able to escape. Su-yun frowned. With a wave of his right hand, Thousand Deep Sword flew out. He leaped high and stepped on the Thousand Deep Sword. He flew quickly. The Death Sword revolved around his body continuously. He flew out of the intersect. "Chase!" Seeing this, one of them immediately shouted out. Many inner sect guards rushed in. Under the lead of that person, they chased after Su-yun. "Please, everyone, you must take down the person who tried to assassinate my sister." Su Dong-fang took the clothes that his comrade took off and hurriedly covered Su-yu-rong's naked body. Then, he shouted, "Quickly call the spirit doctor over. Inform my father about this. Let him quickly invite the clan elders to save my sister." Su Dong-fang shouted anxiously. "Yes, young master." The people beside him nodded. Without delay, they hurriedly ran away. Su Dong-fang carried the pale-faced Su-yu-rong and asked anxiously, "Little sister, how are you? Are you all right? I just happened to pass by here. I felt the turbulence in the chi here and came to take a look. I never thought that such a thing would happen here. I came late. It's all my fault. I came late." Looking at him, he was blaming himself. His expression was sincere. Fault? Su-yu-rong's face was contorted in pain. But she did not appreciate it. Her painful face revealed a mocking smile. Her voice was extremely weak. My dear brother, don't act. Even if you're like this, you can't. Take that thing from me." Su Dong-fang's eyes flashed with a complicated expression. But his expression did not change much. Confused, he asked, "My sister, what are you talking about?" Su-yu-rong closed her eyes. She did not speak anymore. Beads of perspiration rolled down her forehead. "Pass down the order. We must capture the person who tried to assassinate my sister. I will not let him go." Su Dong-fang turned his head and said to the person behind him. But that person bit his lower lip and said, "Young Master Dong-fang, it might be difficult." "Why?" Su Dong-fang's face darkened. "This is the Su family. Can he escape?" "This? Of course he can't escape. It's just that this person seems to be the Limitless Sword Lord who has been in the limelight recently. I heard that his cultivation is extremely high. Even the Blood Soul Master who defeated Purple Star Principal was killed by him. If we don't send the experts from the main house, I'm afraid we won't be able to stop him." "Limitless Sword Lord?" Su Dong-fang heard. His face flashed with a trace of shock. "Are you sure it's him? Masks and clothing can be disguised. But to fly and kill enemies, I'm afraid only Limitless Sword Lord can do that." That person laughed bitterly. Su Dong-fang was silent. "Help me into the house, you useless things." Just then, Su-yu-rong suddenly shouted at the servants. Even though her voice was weak, it was still filled with anger. How would the few servants dare to disobey Su-yu-rong? They hurried over and carefully helped the heavily injured Su-yu-rong into the embroidery pavilion. Some people brought good medicine. Some people used their chi. A series of measures finally allowed Su-yu-rong to recover a little. Luckily it didn't hit her vital parts. If not, the situation would be terrible. Su Dong-fang heaved a sigh of relief and laughed. Su-yu-rong glanced at him and said indifferently, "Brother, go out. Can't you see we are not dressed properly?" Su Dong-fang was stunned. He was speechless. Not dressed properly? How could it be just not dressed properly? She wasn't even wearing any clothes. But the people here had heard that Su Yurong liked girls. Furthermore, her daily actions were very improper. So they automatically ignored it. Su Dongfang did not persist. After hesitating for a while, he retreated and closed the door. Su Yurong, who was in the house, saw it. She immediately used all her strength and pulled a lady beside her over. She directly kissed her and kissed her. The lady's body twitched violently. She struggled, but the servants beside her quickly held her down to prevent her from resisting. The lady's skin became older and older. Her vitality became weaker and her hair started to fall. Finally, she turned from a 20-plus-year-old lady to a 50-plus-year-old lady. Su Yurong let go of her hand. The lady fell to the ground. She did not have much vitality. It was unknown whether she was dead or alive. But looking at Su Yurong, her complexion had recovered quite a bit. Although she was still weak, she was much better than before. "Carry her out." Su Yurong wiped her mouth and charmingly said. "Yes, miss." The remaining servants said with a trembling voice. Miss, tomorrow night, are we still going to see Su Yun?" The people beside her asked. "Of course." Su Yurong breathed harshly. Her body was still weak. The pain had not decreased by much. But even so, she was still holding on. She was really valiant. "Your talents are too poor. You can't give me much qi. Qing Er and Su Xian, you have good talents. If I can absorb their qi, I will definitely recover. Even my cultivation will increase. Even though I am injured now, the more injured I am, the more I must go." Yes, Mississippi. So, as fast as lightning, a figure quietly entered the outer sect. Su Yun had already left the inner sect people far behind. With the heavenly scale divine eye to hide his qi, even if they used a tracking treasure, it would be hard for them to find him. Returning to the hut, Su Yun immediately changed his clothes. He had to say it was a pity this time. Why did Su Dongfang appear at this time? If he was not here, he could easily kill Su Yurong. Next time, he might not have such an opportunity. He did not know if Su Yurong would still keep the appointment tomorrow night. If she did not go, then he would lose his chance. With his power in the Su family, if he did not settle the matter tomorrow, then his days in the future would not be easy. Very quickly, the quiet outer sect was filled with noises. The disturbance in the inner sect shocked the entire Su family. The 3 houses of the Su family were sealed. The guards of the inner sect began to investigate one by one. The great clan elder of the main house led a group of experts and rushed over. The outer sect people who were sleeping or cultivating were awakened by the noise. Everyone came out of their houses and asked each other what happened. One by one, the illumination gems illuminated the outer sect street. Su Yun opened the window a little. Looking at the disturbance outside, he closed his eyes and started thinking. Hua! At this time, the sky suddenly flashed with a burst of blue light. Then, a group of people appeared from the blue light and landed on the streets of the outer sect of the Su family. It was the great clan elder and the elites of the main house. They came really fast. Su Yun's heart tightened. These existences, their powers were all exceptional. It was hard for him to win against one of the elites of the main house. With so many elites of the main house, including the great clan elder, if they were to fight, he would not even have the chance to run away. He had already taken off his disguise. Even if they found him, it should be fine, right? He thought. At this time, he saw the outer sect deacon hurriedly run to the great clan elder's side. After nodding and bowing, he did not know what he said. A group of people looked over. Then, they actually took big strides and walked over. Chapter 130. Su Yun's eyes were in a mess. He suddenly thought of something and quickly removed the heavenly scale divine eye from his eyes and hid it in his storage ring. Then, he walked a few steps forward and sat cross-legged on the bed. He assumed a meditative posture. Do. Just then, someone knocked on the door. Su Yun. Su Yun. Open the door! Open the door! The great clan elder is here. Come out and greet us! The outer sect deacon's old and cunning voice came out. Su-Yun opened his eyes, got off the bed and opened the door. Hey! Why are you so slow? If you neglect the great clan elder, you'll be in trouble. The outer sect deacon stared at him and snorted. He arrogantly said. Then, he turned and bowed to the great clan elder and smiled. Great clan elder, this is Su-Yun. Behind him, the great clan elder and the elites of the Su family stood. The great clan elder stared at him sternly. He looked around and then entered the house. He looked around the house. Su-Yun pretended to be confused, but his heart was tense. One of his hands secretly touched the storage ring. If the situation was not right, he had to strike first. Su-Yun. Just then, the great clan elder suddenly called out. Su-Yun cupped his fists. What orders does the great clan elder have? The great clan elder turned and stared at him. Did you go out tonight? Why does the great clan elder say that? Tonight, Su-Yun has been cultivating here and did not go out. Su-Yun was confused and asked, Great clan elder, what happened? The great clan elder did not reply. His eyes glimmered as he looked at Su-Yun from head to toe. Finally, he shook his head and turned to leave. Ai, great clan elder. The outer sect deacon was confused and quickly followed. Just like that, he left without a sound? Su-Yun did not understand but cupped his fists again. Great clan elder, take care. A group of people scattered out of the small house. Seeing that they were far away, Su-Yun heaved a sigh of relief. With the Limitless sword manual suppressing the heavenly crystal and sprite's shadow, the great clan elder would not be able to sense it. Luckily, he managed to remove the heavenly scale divine eye in time. If the great clan elder was unable to detect his chi, he would definitely be suspicious. His current performance was the most appropriate. He probably would not suspect that he had the ability to attack Su-Yurong at night. After the great clan elder and the rest left, Su-Yun closed the door and continued to cultivate. After about 4 hours, the clamor of the outer sect gradually calmed down. Su-Yun ignored them. He did not leave any evidence behind. He believed that they would not suspect him. But the only thing he was worried about was that the Su family would suspect Limitless Sword God's identity. Why would Limitless suddenly appear in the Su family? Why did he attack Su-Yurong? In the end, the Su family would probably link the Su family disciples to Limitless Sword God. Furthermore, when they were retrieving the sprite's shadow, the lady had said that there were already 2 people who had infiltrated the Su family to search for Wuji's whereabouts. Tonight's incident would only make them more certain that Wuji was in the Su family. There would be endless troubles in the future, so he had to leave the Su family as soon as possible. On the second day, Su-Yun went to practice the hurricane sword technique as usual. Of course, before practicing, he first used the heavenly scale divine eye to check if there were any surveillance. If there were surveillance from the main house or other people, he could only change locations. The ruthless sword chi rippled out. Su-Yun brandished the 1,000-deep sword, and the sharp chi swirled around his body. He was still not familiar with the hurricane sword technique. Using the Limitless Sword Manual's Imperial Sword Technique to display the hurricane sword technique, the power was not strong. Su-Yun could only use his hands to control it. First, he constructed the trajectory of the profound spirit chi. He stabilized his body and released his chi. The pure divine spirit chi began to arrange around his body. Crisscrossing, messy, and complicated. Rascal, the hurricane sword technique is formless and formless. It is like the wind and cannot be caught. Don't fix the pattern. The arrangement of the chi trajectory is based on the enemy's weakness. Don't think that the hurricane sword technique has a wide range and doesn't need to capture the weakness. That is extremely stupid. The Limitless Sword Sect's sword techniques emphasize on attacking with all your strength. Even if your opponent is much weaker than you cannot relax at all. The Sword Elder began to explain. Firstly, the arrangement of the Hurricane Sword Technique's chi trajectory is based on the enemy you are facing. It is not a random arrangement. Your enemy's height, the position of the heart, the position of the head and the position of the lower body. You have to accurately grasp all of them and quickly arrange the chi trajectory. Then, use the sword to advance according to the trajectory. Su-yun heard and nodded his head seriously. His eyes focused and started arranging. An imaginary enemy appeared in his mind. It was the Blood Soul Master. He stared at the imaginary body of the Blood Soul Master and raised his hand. All the pores on his body released a fierce pure divine spirit chi. His spirit essence opened wide and his chi channels started to revolve crazily. In a few breaths, the trajectory was formed and all of them were aimed at the vital points of the Blood Soul Master. Too slow. Too slow. The Sword Elder said indifferently. Powerful people can be created with just a thought. You're too slow. Su-yun was not satisfied. He removed the chi trajectory and started arranging again. Too slow. Remove, set again. Still too slow. Remove, set again. Rascal, can you do it or not? Remove, set again. Maybe I shouldn't have passed this sword technique to you. Your current strength might not be enough. Remove, set again. This continued until the sun gradually set. Su-yun was sweating profusely and gasping for breath. He had used up more than half of his profound spirit chi. The speed at which he arranged the chi trajectory had increased by a lot, but he still needed a breath's time. All right, if you can persevere, setting up chi might not be difficult. But you have to understand, why is the speed of setting up chi so demanding? That's because in a battle, the enemy is constantly moving and your chi has to follow. If you set up chi too slowly, you will not be able to keep up with the enemy's rhythm. Then, this sword technique would be useless. Do you understand? Senior's teachings are correct. Su-yun gasped for breath, wiped the sweat off his forehead and said, Su-yun understands. Let's stop here for today. Go and cultivate your chi. After that, the Sword Elder returned to the Limitless Sword Manual. Su-yun took out 3 chi returning pills from his storage ring and swallowed them. Then, he sat cross-legged and meditated for half an hour. After digesting the chi-returning pills, he got up and went back to his house. Back in his house, he began to adjust his Spirit Lord chi to warm up his entire body. There were many ways to cultivate chi. One was to constantly use it in battle, forcing the spirit essences to produce profound spirit chi. His chi channels would be filled with profound spirit chi and become thicker and tougher. This was considered to be a martial cultivator. Because it was too difficult, there were not many people who used it. The other way was to use pills to adjust the circulation of profound spirit chi. This was considered to be a literary cultivator. Among the current spirit cultivators, there were many who used this method. Then, they would use mystical techniques to increase their strength. Su-yun was not afraid of hardships. In fact, when he was cultivating mystical techniques, he would use the method of cultivating spirit chi to cultivate. When he was tired, he would use the method of cultivating spirit chi to cultivate. Alternating between cultivation, he did not slack off for even a moment. With the support of the everlasting stone, his talent was 7 times higher than the average person. Coupled with the fact that he was several times more hard-working than the average person, how could his cultivation increase so slowly? Tonight, Su-yun did not dare to go overboard. After all, he still had something to confirm. Sitting cross-legged to cultivate, unknowingly, it was nearing midnight. Su-yun opened his eyes and took a deep breath. Looking at the moonlight outside the house, he stood up and walked out. There were a few guards from the inner sect patrolling outside. The Su family had encountered such incidents time and time again, so the security had been strengthened. Furthermore, the main door was closed at night, so it was difficult to leave the Su family. He looked left and right, using the heavenly scale divine eye to size up the Su family's defensive forces. He found a gap and directly escaped out of the Su family, heading towards the nameless hill outside the Su family. Nearing the hill, he looked around and sat down to wait. The moonlight shone on his pale white face. Along with the silent hill, everything seemed extremely strange. He did not know if Su Yurong would come. He could only say that he was trying his luck. If she came, it meant that she did not suspect that he was Limitless Sword God. If she did not come, it meant that her injuries were too severe and he had to change his plans. Or, she had already started to suspect him. No matter what the situation was, he had to make a move as soon as possible to prevent any accidents from happening. Ding-ling. Just at this time, a series of bells rang. Su Yun looked up and saw a few skinny, slightly yellow-faced ladies walking beside a luxurious carriage. The carriage was pulled by a purple-horned beast. Around the carriage there were wind chimes. It was very beautiful, and behind the curtain of the carriage, a lady could be faintly seen lying down. As expected, they came. Su Yun heaved a sigh of relief. His mouth curled into a sinister smile. He stood up and walked over. The carriage stopped. The purple-horned beast let out a low growl. A lady dressed in gray walked over quickly. She lifted the curtain of wind chimes. Inside, Su Yurong was heavily injured. Her face was pale and sallow. Su Yurong appeared in front of Su Yun. Seeing Su Yun walking over, Su Yurong's face flashed a look of shock. Her face darkened and she shouted, "Su Yun, I came as promised. Where are they? Why are you alone?" They didn't come. The sinister smile on Su Yun's face became wider. He walked towards the carriage step by step. His hand slowly touched the storage ring. "You dare lie to me?" Su Yurong was enraged. "Don't think that just because I'm injured, I don't have the ability to kill you." "Kill you? I can do it easily." With that said, the servants on the left and right rushed forward and surrounded Su Yun. But at this moment, Su Yun suddenly took out two swords from his storage ring. Thousand-deep sword that was showing off its abilities. The pitch-black sinister death sword. The two swords appeared. With a wave of Su Yun's arm, they flew out and pierced towards Su Yurong. Seeing that, Su Yurong's face turned pale white. Her eyes widened. Her heart stopped beating. Her mind was blank. You're limitless?" Su Yurong asked. So the sword tip flew forward. Without waiting for Su Yurong to defend, it pierced through her chest. Fresh blood splattered all over the carriage. Su Yurong's body twitched. Before she could say anything, she died. Ah! The servants were stunned. One by one, they looked at the dead Su Yurong. Suddenly, their faces were filled with pitch-black chi. Then, as though they had gone mad, they started to attack Su Yun. Su Yun kept his swords. He was not courteous. He started to fight with the ladies who were completely conquered by Su Yurong. The ladies were drained of a large amount of chi by Su Yurong. They were extremely haggard. If it was Su Yun who was only at the 6th stage of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple Realm, it would be easy. But if it was Limitless Sword Manual, it would be impossible. Adding on Su Yun's sneak attack and killing Su Yurong, they were no match for him. Very quickly, the servants all fell. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.